That national anthem comes to you on a brilliant, bright, sunny day from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings here on CBS. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan with John Unitas here at Bloomington for a very important game. Two teams that are 1-1. They're in the same Central Division of the NFC. And John, Bud Grant, cognizant of some of the criticism that his team has had for not playing so well the first two games, an overtime loss to Dallas, a narrow victory over Tampa Bay last week, Bud says, hey, it's early. No team should be judged on the first two games of the season.
2 games does not a season make, and I've never seen Bud Grant too excited about anything, Tim. He has a fine football team in the Minnesota Vikings and an offensive team that can explode any time of a ball game and put some points on the board. But, of course, should be concerned about one thing, and that is the enormity of penalties, interceptions, fumbles. He's had 13 so far penalties in 2 ball games, 6 of them last week against the Tampa Buccaneers, and that is almost unheard of. And on the other hand, the Green Bay Packers, a young, aggressive football team coached by Bart Starr in a rebuilding program. Bart has these people believing in themselves. They came out, they won 1 ball game against the New Orleans Saints, and again last week came within a whisker of beating the Houston Oilers. This football team is going to be a winner in a couple more years, and they're doing a real fine job.
All right, the Green Bay Packers have won the toss, and they will receive from the south end of the field, which is to our right, John Unitas. They are in white with their gold and green trim, and the Vikes will defend to our left in purple and white. Defending the north end, it'll be number 14, Fred Cox, kicking it off as we see him from the end zone. Cox seems to have new life in those old legs. He's been booming his kickoffs into the end zone for Minnesota in the preseason and in the first 2 games of this early season as the Vikings lost to Dallas 16-10 in the first game and then beat Tampa Bay on a very slippery field down there, 9-3. Back to receive are Willard Harrell, number 40, and Steve Odom, number 84. The 2 speedsters on the Packer team, and again we mentioned that Willard Harrell now likes to be called Willard Harrell, just like Tony Dorsett. And the ball taken by Harrell at his own 2, it's slippery there, and he has nowhere to go, is dropped at the 5-yard line by a swarm of Vikings tacklers, and they're going to spot the ball pretty close to that 5-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 Green Bay. Windland Hall, number 40, the first man to get him for the Vikings. The field is slightly greasy after rain here for the past several days in Minnesota, although it stopped yesterday and is a beautiful day here this afternoon. So the Green Bay Packers will start Lynn Dickey at quarterback with Barty Smith and Eric Torkelson as the running backs. Smith 33, Torkelson number 26. Rich McGeorge jumps over from his tight end position on the left, shifting to the right side. Torkelson slips and falls over up to maybe the 7 for a pickup of about 1.5 yards. And it was Carl Eller, number 81, and Studwell, number 55, getting a start, the rookie at linebacker, putting the stop on Torkelson. And we mentioned the slippery field. We've seen it in evidence already on 2 plays. The wide receivers for Green Bay are 84, Steve Odom, starting for the injured Ollie Smith, out with a leg injury, a hamstring problem. Kenny Payne on the other side. The tight end is Richard George. 2nd and about 9 to go. Torkelson again, and gets nowhere. Stopped right behind the line of scrimmage by Studwell again, and number 54, McNeil. So a loss of about 2 on the play will bring up 3rd and 11. The Vikings bring in some new defensive help in this passing situation. Mullaney comes in, Duck White, number 72, arrives, and number 29, Phil Wise. Defensively across the front for Minnesota, Eller and Marshall are the ends, Sutherland and Page are the tackles, that well-known defensive front 4. Blair, Seaman, and McNeil are the linebackers, with Studwell also getting some play now. And the pass is caught by Odom. He's up on his feet. Odom. He's at the 30, and he's going to score. Steve Odom, and the Packers get on the board on a 3rd and 11. John Unitas, how about that?
Jimmy, it was an outstanding catch by Odom and a real good reflexive move for him getting right back up off the floor of the turf down there. Let's take a look at it from the camera and watch the blocking that is afforded Dickey here. A fine throw, but watch the reception on Odom as the defender goes for the Interception, does not get it. Odom comes up and goes the distance for the touchdown. An outstanding catch, and even better than that was a reflex move by Odom, not being touched by a defender to get up with the football and score the first touchdown.
That was Nate Wright on the coverage, and that was indeed a very alert play by Odom, realizing that he could run with the ball, and boy did he once he got up. The point after.
We have assembled here a most congenial group, brought together by their love for a truly great beer. Right, group?
Right.
It's light beer from Miller. Right, group?
Right.
They think the best thing about it is it's less filling. It has a third less calories than their regular beer. Right, group?
Right. Wrong. The best thing about it, it tastes great.
No, Horny, it's less filling.
That's Horny.
Says me.
Hey, take it from me. It tastes great. Who are you? You won't think this fight is no joke when you come to and your nose is broke.
No wonder you don't get no respect. I tell you, I don't deserve no respect.
You still don't know nothing about beer.
I thought I threw you out of this bar last year.
I feel very strongly both ways. I never argue.
Hi, Mickey.
Hi, doll.
What's a nice guy like you doing in a fight like this?
Waiting for you, doll.
I still don't know why they wanted me to do this commercial.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less.
All right, Chester Marco will kick it off for the Green Bay Packers. He has just made the point after to give Green Bay a 7-0 lead. A 95-yard touchdown play, Lynn Dickey to Steve Odom. The deep men are Manfred Moore, number 36, the former Oakland Raider, along with Sammy White and Robert Miller. And it's over the head of Miller into the end zone, will go through, and the Vikings will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Manfred Moore, number 36, just acquired, has been at 2 practices exactly for the Vikings. They needed some help in that department. The rookie Keith Hartwig had been scheduled to be the returner, a youngster from Arizona, but he has an ankle injury and did not start the first 2 games, has since been placed on waivers to make way for Manfred Moore. Bob Grimm had been handling it. He simply does not have the speed. McClanahan and Foreman will be the starting running backs. Fran Tarkenton will bring them out. And they come out in the I formation. Sammy White and Ahmad Rashad are the wide receivers, split wide. Straight ahead is Chuck Foreman, number 44. With the Vikings trailing 7-0, and we still have 13 minutes remaining here in the first period. A gain of 5, it'll be 2nd and 5.
First time I think you can watch Fran start to work with his halfbacks coming out of that backfield. There we see the Minnesota receivers, Richard, White, and Voigt. And Fran, you just kind of pick them apart, work on those linebackers out there, and not going to try to throw anything deep until he sees what kind of defensive Green Bay Packers are going to give him.
All right, on 2nd and 5, Foreman again spinning, whirling over the 25-yard line to the 28. He'll be short of the first down. Jim Carter, number 50, made the tackle on him, the middle linebacker.
On the tackle.
The offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings. Steve Riley and Ron Yary are the tackles. The guards are Charlie Goodrum and Wes Hamilton, still starting ahead of Ed White, who just returned from a lengthy holdout. The center is the veteran Mick Tingelhoff in his 16th year of handing up that ball to Fran Tarkenton, who's been there 17. Defensively, we'll show you that in a moment for the Green Bay Packers. This is Foreman again, and he has the first down just over the 30-yard line.
That's a Viking first down.
And the last man to get up is the first man to hit him, the linebacker, number 52, Gary Weaver, with help from Jim Carter, number 50. So the Vikings have a first down on 3 consecutive runs by Foreman. Defensively across the front, the rookie Mike Bartler, number 77. On the other side is Bob Barber, number 70. The tackles are Dave Roller and Dave Purifoy. Mike Butler, the number 1 pick from Kansas, and has been impressive in his first 2 games. Tarkenton will throw, complete to Rashad. First down at the 45-yard line. We expect to see John Unitas Tarkenton throw the ball on first down, probably a half the time he has the ball. And we also expect to see Rashad and Sammy White catch that ball in the middle. And I guess they think they can pick in those linebackers, huh?
Well, they can. Both of these fellows on the outside have good speed and are able to force the defensive back off of them in order to turn in the inside, like as you saw this past time here with Rashad. And France set that up beautifully with his first run. First run of the game was a same type of a play, and they went this time for the pass.
So it is first down again. The pitch to Foreman. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Good coverage. Lateral pursuit by the Packer front four and the linebackers, and Steve Luke, the safety, came up to get into the play. Weaver and Butler were the first men on the tackle. Gain of, no gain, and we'll call it about a half a yard loss. Secondary for Green Bay, Willie Buchanan is the veteran on the left corner. On the right side, a second-year man, Mike McCoy. Hard-hitting Steve Luke at safety, number 46, with Johnny Gray, number 24. Good blocking, pulls his way out, close to the first down. We'll see where they mark the ball as the Vikings are moving it well against Green Bay.
Tim, that play, France fakes to the outside, come back with a quick trap up the middle. If you watch a trap right there on Carter, number 50, and you see McClanahan going right up following, good blocking, an outstanding run, good call by France. And he set that one up in the play previously by pitching the ball out to his tailback, Foreman, who did not pick up anything. And then coming back with the same type of play, a fake pitch, and then coming back with the handoff to McClanahan. Outstanding blocking up front for him.
Yes, you could see Charlie Goodrum, number 68, throw a particularly good block to Springham. It was Luke and Carter on the tackle, but not before the Vikings gained a first down at the 45-yard line of Green Bay. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited. Tarkenton intended for Voigt, cannot hold on, and he was wrapped by Luke, but he had already lost possession of the ball. It'll be second down.
Luke was so intent on hitting Voigt coming out, had he stayed off of him a little bit, he may have been able to come up with that interception. The ball was tipped just slightly.
57 degrees here on a beautiful football day in Bloomington. Humidity of 55%. The winds are from the northwest at 14, gusting to 21, and could be a factor if they do start to gust, but right now it looks like the wind conditions are just fine down there. We do have a slippery field, as we have commented, and the infield here at Metropolitan Stadium has just been filled in this past week following the completion of the season by the Minnesota Twins, so that turf should be loose to our left. Tarkenton to the sideline, and it's incomplete. No, did he hold it? Yes, he did. Ahmad Rashad held on. Good catch on the far sideline. It was McCoy on the coverage. We'll see it again.
Just watch the throw by Fran. It's a high throw, but Rashad was able to bring it down. As you see, both feet inbounds. Green Bay's doing one thing out there, Tim, we've noticed already. They're keeping their defensive ends wide. They don't like to see Francis get outside that defensive end, so he's able to run around back there. So they're trying to keep the ends outside, linebackers inside, and get the outside rush to contain Francis in the pocket.
All right, we've got double tight ends in here now, along with Dennis Swilly to get this third and short. And McClanahan slips, gets up, and dives, trying to get it, but if they stopped his forward progress where his knee went down, it looks like the official is standing there. It'll be fourth down on a loss of about a yard, and that's what they're going to call it. McClanahan made the second effort, but he had been down.
The Vikings ran into the same type of field in certain areas, like last week down at Tampa, when they were just tearing the ground up down there with the thing, with all the rain and water. They did not get a chance to drain, and a lot of sand on the turf down in Tampa. They tore it up and lost footing quite a bit down there.
Said that was a real factor in their offense. The Vikes are going for it on 4th and 2. Tarkenton loops it out, and what a catch by Foreman. First down, Vikings inside the 30, and Foreman saved Francis there because that ball was overthrown, and Foreman went up like a basketball player going for the boards there, John.
Tim, that's three-quarters of that offense right there is Chuck Foreman and Fran Tarkenton combining on passes, and Foreman right here really saves Francis. There's that wide rush I spoke about that Francis was able to step up the inside. Look at the catch. Don't say that man doesn't have good hands.
He's dropped by Buchanan and Luke after he caught the ball, but he had to jump straight up a couple of feet to get one hand and hold on. So the Vikes keep it going, a daring play. Foreman has met at the line of scrimmage, got maybe a yard. Remember, the Vikings were 4th and 2, and Tarkenton had to elude the rush, and Foreman had to make a big catch to keep that drive alive. They're going to give him maybe a yard on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 9. Jim Carter, number 50, with Mike Butler, number 77, put the tackle on him. 7-0 Green Bay. If you joined us late, you missed a dandy play. Dickey to Steve Odom, 95 yards on a 3rd and 11 play.
That was the second longest pass in Green Bay's history. It was wrote to Grimes for 96 yards earlier.
In motion, McClanahan, Tarkenton to Foreman. He's got lots of room and slips over the 20-yard line and has the first down. Well, let's wait on that. It will be close again depending on where they mark it. He may come up a little bit short. Fred Carr made the tackle.
There's something you'll see over and over. Francis does, puts the pressure on the linebacker, what Chuck Foreman, as you see Chuck Foreman picking the ball up. Look how he carries that ball in his hand there. He's allowed to come up with a fumble or two, but Bud Grant's not going to say too many things about it.
He looked like you rolling out, John, the way you carried that
falling
ball.
Down, what you're talking about.
Sammy Johnson in the game for Foreman. Johnson, number 48. 3rd and short. And I would guess they got it, just diving straight ahead. Believe Johnson had the ball. Wait till they unstack him here. Down at the bottom there is Wes Hamilton. It was Johnson, and you saw 61 Wes Hamilton, the lead blocker, and they're going to measure. The whole front 4 of the Packers stacking it up, trying to blunt this Vikings drive as they have taken the kickoff following the Odom touchdown and moved smartly down the field, converting on a 4th and 2 situation in Green Bay territory. And it's short. Out goes Johnson, in comes Foreman. And when they put the markers back up, we'll see exactly how far they have to go. It's about 6 inches. Craig is in there along with Voigt at double tight end. Craig actually sits on the wing with Swilly playing the tight end. And they have the first down as the Vikings, Jim Carter put the stop on them, but it was too late to prevent the first down. The Vikings will just run on you when they get anything short. Tarkenton believes that they can run short on anybody, John, and that's what they'll do.
With the offensive line like he has there, with Gary being one of the outstanding blockers and pass blockers as well, they can run on any football team there is in this game today.
1st and 10 for the Vikings at the Green Bay 16.
You can hear the PA announcer give you the count, and they are driving, trying to tie it up here. In motion back toward the line is White. Tarkenton will throw. Intended for White. Touchdown! And the Vikings are right back in it. You saw motions from Sammy White starting back toward the rest of the backfield and then turning it up. We'll see it again.
There's something that Minnesota very rarely does with motion, but Sammy White is so quick coming off that line. With that motion, the defender has to stay off of him. And when he does that, he's downfield so quickly, and the defender had him pushed back to the inside, as you saw, and Sammy just went back to his corner out there, and Francis had the ball sitting right in his arms.
80 yards in 15 plays for the score. Cox will attempt the point after, and it is good. We have a tie ball game. Fran Tarkenton to Sammy White brings the Vikings right back into it. With 5:43 remaining first period, we're tied at 7.
The Ford in your future is coming. The new Ford Fairmont. A new car designed for today and the years ahead. Fairmont's mileage ratings are the same as a little VW Rabbit when both are equipped with automatic transmission. Yet Fairmont has 90% of the head, leg, and shoulder room of most large cars and fine all-around visibility. This kind of room is combined with the highest mileage rating in its class. Test drive Fairmont October 7th. Fairmont, the newest, better idea from Ford.
Want to cut your fuel bills? Whether your house is new or old, put insulation everywhere it can save you money. Your attic, you need a 6 to 12-inch blanket of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Walls, full insulation. Unheated crawl space, insulate below the floor. Live where it's cold, insulate basement walls. See your Owens Corning fiberglass supplier to learn all about insulation. Insulation is cheaper than oil.
Fred Cox will kick it off. The deep men are Harrell and Steve Odom. It is Odom, the very deep man, standing at the 5. And it's taken by Harrell about the 6-yard line. He's at the 20 and out to the 25. Stopped there by Joe Blaha, number 21. And the Pack will start 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line of Green Bay. Atlanta leading the New York Giants 7-0 in the second period, and we have some other scores that we'll pass along to you as soon as we can. Green Bay comes out, they're tied 7-7. McGeorge shifts over to the left tight end position. Torkelson, number 26, is met by Jim Marshall at the line of scrimmage. No gain, 2nd and 10. Chicago and New Orleans are tied 7-7 with 9 minutes remaining in the first period there. New England and the Jets are tied 14-14 with 2:57 remaining in the first period. And later score on that, New England has gone ahead 17-14. Pittsburgh and Cleveland tied at 14, and the Eagles and the Lions are tied at 7 in the second period. Dallas leading Tampa Bay 3-0 in the first. Intended for Barty Smith, incomplete from Lynn Dickey. It will be 3rd down. And that's a look at the other scores around the NFL. We'll keep bringing them to you as we receive them here in Minnesota. 3rd and 9 for the Green Bay Packers.
Thank you. 3rd and 9 for the Packers at their 27.
Mullaney and White are in the game defensively for Minnesota. Mullaney, number 77 at right end, as Torkelson, coming behind the right guard, picks up about 5. Stopped by Fred McNeil. And they'll have to punt it away. The Packers still have a couple to go for a 1st down, and back to punt is David Beverly, standing on his own 20-yard line. Manfred Moore is the deep receiver, standing at his own 24-yard line. Bobby Grimm and Robert Miller, the short man. Beverly, a good punt. Moore backed up to his 21. Gets out to the 27-yard line where the Vikings will start. 1st and 10, Larry McCarron made the tackle. And so we have 4:11 remaining in this first quarter with the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings tied 7-7.
Bandit, clean that carburetor. Get a hold of this and do it yourself. Keep the change, partner.
Tomorrow night is Elvis night as CBS invites you to see and hear Elvis in concert. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Unitas here at Bloomington, Minnesota, a 7-7 ball game. A 47-yard punt by Dave Beverly of the Green Bay Packers has Minnesota 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line. McClanahan and Foreman are the running backs, 33 and 44 respectively. McClanahan in motion. Foreman, wide right, is taken down at the 29-yard line. The ball came loose and was recovered by Minnesota's Brent McClanahan. Steve Luke was the first man to hit Foreman, and Luke can pop you pretty good. That might have shaken the ball loose, John.
Well, he hit Foreman so hard he knocked him right out of his shoe. Chuck's going off the side of the field right now to put his shoe back on. Fran going right back to his running game and trying to set some things up. I'm sure we'll see him throwing the ball coming out of here on maybe a 2nd down situation as we have.
2nd and 7. Sammy Johnson in for Foreman. The pass complete to McClanahan. Carter drags him down, but McClanahan bowled his way for another 2 or 3 yards trying to get that 1st down, and he has it.
Tim, there's no way Carter could cover McClanahan on that. He's a split backfield. Carter was moving late. McClanahan just went outside and curled around 5 yards downfield, and there's no way that Carter could get out there quickly enough to cover him or knock the ball down.
Well, those Cleveland Browns showing they mean business. They're battling Pittsburgh, a division rival, 14-14. Tarkenton rolling and throwing on 1st down, and it's complete. Right on the money, a super throw. Stu Voigt at the 45-yard line of Green Bay, Mike McCoy, make it Sammy White on the catch. Sammy White, number 85. McCoy made the tackle.
There's a little bootleg by Francis to a strong right side. They're trying to get a little bit more time. An excellent throw right to Sammy White. As you saw, the defender was right with him. The ball was put in there expertly.
The Detroit Lions leading Philadelphia 10-7 at the half. Next week, the Lions will be right here in Minnesota. Another divisional contest. Foreman back in the game. White in motion. They throw it to White. And he was stopped first by Butler and then by Gary Weaver. Did not get much on it. Flag down on the play, our first of the game. The Jets giving the Patriots all they can handle this afternoon. 17-14 at the half for the Pats. Holding penalty, a clipping penalty against Ron Yari, number 73. And that gives us an opportunity to introduce our officials who have been significant by their absence of calls so far. Chuck Heberling is the referee. The umpires, Bill Ross, the head linesman, Al Sabato.
Clipping,
the line judge, Bruce
offense,
Alford.
number 73.
You heard Chuck Heberling. The back judge is Dave Parry, and the field judge is Bill Stanley.
And there's one of those penalties that we talked about earlier in the ball game that Minnesota has been having for the last 2 weeks. These type penalties, with the amount of yardage they mark off, can really stop the drive. Let's see what happens on these ensuing plays.
The Pack has Ezra Johnson, their other rookie defensive end, in. He's wearing number 78. The pass to White, complete, hit immediately, and knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line of Minnesota by Willie Buchanan, number 28.
Buchanan defending.
That was first and very long, 25. And it'll now be second and about 18 to go. Francis Tarkenton, 8 of 9 for 88 yards. He is on target today. He got help on one of them by Chuck Foreman, who went straight up to make a skyhook grab. Tarkenton under some pressure, complete to McClanahan, hit immediately. Got only about 4 on the play as Fred Carr, number 53, wrapped him up.
Carr on the tackle.
Fred Carr is one of the fastest linebackers that the Packers have. Take a look at it from the end zone cameras. You see Francis hang the ball up for McClanahan, and Fred Carr right there, not soon enough to stop the completion, but there to make the tackle. It's third and about 12.
Still a long way to go for the Vikings following that clipping penalty. You know, we went 13 minutes without a penalty, which through the preseason and through the first 2 games of the regular season might be a league record this year, John.
I'm sure Bud Grant was happy to see that.
Tarkenton trying to get first down to White, complete, and he has Sammy White coming into the middle again. As we mentioned, Tarkenton had that very much in his game plan, the coverage from the cornerback, Willie Buchanan, who made the tackle. First down, Minnesota.
Watch the blocking and the throw, the fine move by Sammy White. Green Bay is not going to be able to play these outside receivers in single coverage. They're going to have to mix their coverages up, go into zone, different types of zone, tried to keep Francis guessing back there what they're going to do, and also the receivers on the outside as to what kind of coverage they're going to get. If they're going to give him that much time, he's going to be a long afternoon for the defensive football team.
Well, that's going to end the first period here with the Vikings having a first down at the Green Bay 32-yard line. And we have a tie score, the Packers 7 and the Vikings 7.
When life's grind gets to you.
Go Mustang!
Mustang.
Let a Mustang take you away.
Mustang, an exciting way to get from where you are to where you want to be with 4 on the floor and rack and pinion steering.
Mustang.
The 78 Ford Mustang 2 T-Roof convertible.
Go Mustang!
So beat the grind. Go Mustang. A better idea from Ford.
Homeward bound, coast of New England.
You got 6'2" feet.
Circus.
the Navy. See your recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
49, yeah.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings, John Unitas, had the ball for 11 minutes and 49 seconds of that first quarter, and I think that is a very significant number at this point, even though the score is tied at 7.
It is tied at 7, but the Minnesota Vikings have the better of the offensive football teams, as you have been watching. Francis just using his backs the way he wants to, and then going to Sammy White and Rashad downfield behind those linebackers, picking up the first down.
Vikings on the move in Green Bay territory. Pitch out Foreman. Foreman gets about 8, maybe 9 yards. Over there to hit him is the linebacker Gary Weaver, number 52, and the safety Luke, number 46.
Quick pitch right out to Foreman. You see Yeri, 73, in on the block, and Foreman just kind of picking his hole and picking up some good yardage. No secret to that play, just outstanding execution.
The New Orleans Saints have come back to tie the Chicago Bears 7-7 in the second period. A touchdown by Archie Manning. Straight ahead McClanahan. He has the first down and more as the Vikings continue to drive.
Secret about possession, Tim, is just a matter of getting off that ball by that offensive line, which Francis has one of the best ones in the game. They're beating the defense to the punch, moving the defense back. Ball carriers are just picking the hole, maintaining possession and control of the football. It's that old adage, you can't score unless you have the football, and Minnesota is doing that.
Clarence Williams made that last tackle. He is in replacing the rookie Butler at left defensive end. McClanahan again, straight ahead. Clarence Williams is number 83. Bob Barber, number 70, made that tackle. The right defensive end, second-year man from Grambling. Second and about 6 yards to go. The ball is at the 15 of Green Bay. Robert Miller is into the game, and McClanahan goes out for the Vikings. We thought we might see a lot of Robert Miller today. He had 2 big games in the Minnesota wins over Green Bay a season ago.
Had real good ones against him, and he ran that draw play very, very well for the Green Bay Packers.
This is Foreman, knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line of Green Bay, and appeared to get the first down yardage before he went out. Steve Luke put the hit on him, number 46. It is first down, Vikings. Wes Hamilton, the lead block on the play, number 61.
Not much of that. Foreman, of course, just outruns to the outside. Some good stand-up blocking down front for Foreman. He just picked a hole and picked up the yardage. Again, nothing very fancy by the Minnesota Vikings, just going at the Packers. Normal work day for them. They're moving the Packers off the ball and picking the holes where they're running. Francis.
Should have bought Mobile One. The oil saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile One. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile One. You only change it every 15,000 miles.
Mobile One, the oil that does it all. Take it from an expert.
It's good, and it's halftime here at the stadium.
This fall, take a few minutes between halves and build up your lawn with some Scott's Turf Builder. Right now is the best time of year to get a thicker bluegrass lawn by growing more grass plants. Turf Builder will make any active lawn greener now and green up faster next spring.
We're all set for the kickoff now.
Just a few minutes this weekend. You'll see the difference now and next spring, too.
I'm yours. I don't go with married women. What are you doing? You like Granada? Granada? This is my Mercedes. Hold tight. Give your hands to my Cadillac. Cadillac? That's the Granada.
Alone at last, beloved.
Beloved?
Where's my bride?
You got that Mercedes with another man.
Another man?
The new Ford Granada. One way to tell it from Cadillac or Mercedes is its sticker price. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Chuck Foreman shaken up on that last play and up on his feet and walking rather gingerly, but apparently all right. We'll wait and see if he comes back. Johnson, as we noted, is in the game, number 48. It is first down, Minnesota at the 7-yard line of Green Bay. We're just underway in the second period. Sammy Johnson to about the 3-yard line. Minnesota fans like Johnson. Some of them would like to see him play more, but how do you get him in when you've got Chuck Foreman in your lineup ahead of him?
Foreman, McClanahan, and Miller, that's some pretty good runners. And there has been some criticism in the paper this week of why Sammy Johnson is not playing more often. He's carrying an 8.3 per yard carry per average.
Well, Barber made that stop. The Vikings, when they go to a double tight end, they put the rookie guard, Dennis Swilley, at the right tight end, and then put Steve Craig, who is normally in, on his wing. And they pitched this pass intended for Craig incomplete, as Tarkenton, seeing that coverage there by McCoy, it looked to me like Johnny may have just thrown that one away. What do you think?
Well, he overthrew him a little bit, but he had good protection on the play, but of course McCoy had good position too on the offensive man. Had he thrown it a little bit easier, McCoy may have an opportunity to pick it off.
Chuck Foreman is back into the game. That's what that little rising burst of applause is about. Johnson goes out, Swilley goes out. 3rd and goal to go. Wide right is Sammy White. Foreman, touchdown, Chuck Foreman. And the Minnesota Vikings have gone in front of the Green Bay Packers.
It appeared that Williams and Roller may have had Foreman on this play. It's a quick trap up the middle. Let's see if they have a shot at him. Roller almost had a hand on him, but he just continues to go on and move into the end zone for the touchdown. Good offensive line play by the Minnesota Vikings, blowing Green Bay back off the ball.
3-yard touchdown by Chuck Foreman. 72 yards in 13 plays for the Vikings. Fred Cox attempting the point after. And it's no good. No good. Wide to the
America, you've been changing.
Coming, going, changing, growing, the things that make up life.
Why is Bank AmeriCard becoming Visa? To keep up with you.
You're traveling, you're moving, you're taking more from life.
Today you need money that's good around the corner, all across America, and in 117 countries around the world. That's why Bank AmeriCard is becoming Visa, the most widely recognized card in the world. Visa, we're keeping up with you.
Badly needed oil lies deep beneath the oceans, much of it beyond man's reach. Until now. With this unique drilling ship, the people of Phillips Petroleum can drill in waters more than a mile deep. The deepest water man has ever drilled in for oil. Probing deep beneath the sea to bring you fine products for your car. That's performance. From Phillips Petroleum, the performance company.
Well, there's that significant number again. 6 minutes and 44 seconds used up by Minnesota in their scoring drive. Green Bay has not had the ball very much so far. Tim Ryan and Johnny Unitas here in the second period. A 13-7 lead for Minnesota. Fred Cox will kick it off. The deep man is Steve Odom, along with Willard Harrell. Kind of a spiral short kickoff. Fumbled momentarily by Turdell Middleton, number 34, or muffed to be more precise in NFL language. And it will be first down as it's covered there at the 22-yard line of Green Bay. Jim Culbreth dove on the loose ball. He has been reactivated. They actually had cut Culbreth, a rookie from Oklahoma, but re-signed him after making some other player moves. Dallas leading Tampa Bay 17-0 at halftime. Robert Newhouse just scoring for Dallas.
Green Bay
out of Philadelphia 10-7. Go ahead.
The Vikings have 12 first downs. The Green Bay's 1. They controlled the football 19 minutes since the start of the ball game.
Dickey intended for Randy Vataha, number 18, who failed to hold on to the high pass. And it'll be 2nd and 10. Vataha in now at wide receiver. That's normally the spot occupied by Ollie Smith. We mentioned he's out with a hamstring pull, and Steve Odom started there. But Vataha getting some action. He was acquired on waivers from New England, former Stanford star.
And I think he didn't have to throw the ball that high to get over top of him. He's only 5'10".
Odom is back in, and he's in motion. Play action. Incomplete, intended for Vataha. So they have Vataha and Odom without Ken Payne in the lineup at the moment.
Fred McNeil was back there to defend against the pass. Actually, Dickey hit McNeil right in the leg with the football. He had Vataha open, but he was just low with the ball.
Lynn Dickey last week against Houston had a pretty good day throwing, 16 for 26, but 3 interceptions, and of course the fluky one that cost the Packers the game. He also passed for a touchdown. Dickey for Odom, can't hold it. A low ball. Did not have a great chance to catch that. Nate Wright and Krause on the coverage, and the Packers will have to punt.
That was a catch like he made in the first quarter for the touchdown. Dickey did have the ball low. Odom made a good try for it. Was not able to come up with it.
Just going back early again, if you joined us late, we did have a rather unusual start in that the Packers, slipping and sliding on loose, wet turf, following the opening kickoff, found themselves 3rd and 11 at their own 5-yard line, and Odom made a real good catch of a sideline pass from Dickey and took it 95 yards for the opening touchdown. But the Vikings have had it the rest of the way. Punt taken by Manfred Moore inside his own 40, gets to about the 41. And he stopped there by Ezra Johnson, number 78.
There is a timeout on the field.
Good field position for the Minnesota Vikings as they will start again with the ball at their own 42, and they lead the game 13-7.
Your car will always need new parts, but you will never need to buy another battery. Once you own the J.C. Penney battery, it never needs water, ever. And it has more power to start your car than any other car battery. So dependable, it's fully warranted for as long as you own your car. If it ever fails, return it. We'll replace it, free. Only at J.C. Penney Auto Centers or catalog desks. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
You know why Zenith developed Color Sentry? Well, did you ever see my face and it looks too red, and other times it's all washed out? That's why.
Zenith Color Sentry. Think of it as a TV control room in your set. It controls the color picture, corrects the color picture, automatically, 30 times a second.
And that makes a difference. After all, I don't play for the Cincinnati Pinks.
See the difference Color Sentry makes. Only from Zenith.
Sunday, Rhoda's mother, Nancy Walker, returns.
Ma, you are incredible. I know.
Sunday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Robert Miller is in the Minnesota backfield along with Chuck Foreman here as the Vikings will start now from their own 42-yard line. New England leading the Jets now 20-14 on another field goal by John Smith. They are in the third period. Baltimore leads Buffalo 7-0, 12:05 remaining in the second quarter. Parkinson throwing on first down, good rush, and they've got him. The first good rush today by the Pack results in a sack. Bob Barber, number 70, and chasing him along with Barber was Fred Carr, number 53.
First good rush, and we're just sitting here talking about it, Tim, that they haven't put a rush on Franz. He was brushed from the inside. Carr forced him outside. Barber, number 70, comes up with the sack. Good play by Carr to force Tarkin back to the outside. Good follow-up by Barber coming in and making the tackle.
Second and 30 for the Vikings, and now we've got 6 defensive backs in the game for Green Bay. Bart Starr said he'd use this in some obvious passing situations, and Tarkenton's retort, run the ball. But Miller taking it out to the 30 and picked up about 10 yards on the play. Close to 10. We'll call it second and about 22. Wagner and Randolph, the 2 extra backs who just came into the game, made the stop on Miller. So we've got Buchanan, Luke, Gray, McCoy, Wagner, and Randolph. along with Fred Carr. Going out, Carter and Weaver being replaced by those backs. Tarkenton, complete. Sammy White. Well, 6 defensive backs could not make the difference on that play. Fine receiver, White, coming into the middle. A perfect throw by Tarkenton.
We got picture Sammy White there. Let's watch his move as he goes downfield. Looks to the outside and then just clumps across the middle. The defensive back is on him. Very, very good. Buchanan. The ball is thrown expertly by Francis, and there's the final tackle.
The one thing it did accomplish, having the extra backs in there, perhaps they did not get first down, whereas White might have been able to run away from the linebackers there. The speedier defensive backs did create the 4th down situation, so the Pack does get the job done from that point of view. The flag is down as the punt from Neil Clabo is up, taken by Harrell at his own 10. Nowhere to go, and he got to about the 16 before he was tripped up by Windland Hall, number 40. So the Green Bay Packers will start deep in their own zone, but we'll now see what that flag was about back at the line of scrimmage. We've had only 2 penalties, and we have 9:56 remaining in the second period. So this has been a relatively penalty-free game thus far, and that's a pleasant experience this season.
Well, it has been. Of course, the Vikings have been penalized quite enough, I'm sure, according to Bud Grant for the whole year.
Against Minnesota. We have clipping on the run back against Green Bay, and it'll be a replay.
Well, you could hear it. Procedure penalty against the Vikings, clipping against the Packers, so they'll kick it over again from the same spot. Vikings with 4th and 4. John?
Excuse me, Tim. The Willard Harrell, as he likes to be called now, is last year was Green Bay's leading runner with 436 yards. This season is just 7 yards on 3 carries. He hasn't been playing too much. Torkelson been taking over most of the job for the running.
Neil Clabo's stats, he's been a little bit erratic in the first couple of games. And punch now from his 37-yard line, and he is erratic again. He gets not a bad bounce, but went off the side of his foot, out of bounds, and is spotted at the 30-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. So they picked up a little mileage on that particular play. 9:49 remaining, second period, 13-7, Minnesota.
Is Fairmont the Ford of your future? Test drive Fairmont October 7th. Find out for yourself. Fairmont, the newest, better idea from the wagon.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Unitas at Bloomington, Minnesota, as we look at Bart Starr consulting there with Zeke Bratkowski to try and get something going for the Pack. This is their best field position of this entire game so far. At the 30-yard line, following the short punt from Clabo. Odom and Vataha are the wide receivers. Harrell and Barty Smith are the running backs. It is Harrell trying to get wide, cannot do it. Jeff Wright, number 23, put the hit on him. Seaman got a piece of him and kind of turned him into Jeff Wright, who came up smartly to make the stop, a gain of a yard. Well, the Jets hanging in there against the favored Patriots, 20-14 in the third period. Baltimore still 7-0 over Buffalo. And Pittsburgh has gone ahead of Cleveland, 21-14 with 10:57 remaining in the third period. Terry Bradshaw passing to Lynn Swan. Rookie Jim Culbreth in the backfield for Green Bay, and Lynn Dickey, unhappy with something, is called a timeout. He wants to go and consult with Bart Starr at the sideline.
I don't believe Den got the right formation in there. He wasn't happy with the setup as it was when he came out of the huddle to the line of scrimmage. He's called timeout to go over and talk to Coach Bart Starr and Zeke Bratkowski. That puts 3 quarterbacks in the huddle. They ought to be able to come up with something out there.
You're right, John. Culbreth went out, having just come in for that preceding play, and they sent in a wide receiver for him. So let's see what happens here. Culbreth, as we mentioned, has just rejoined the club, and the rookie from Oklahoma has not really had a chance to carry the ball as yet. And we've got this opportunity to remind you that next Saturday on CBS, the Sports Spectacular will feature highlights from the U.S. Grand Prix, also the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship, and another edition of the World's Strongest Men at 4:30 Eastern Time, Which of those are you going to look forward to?
Well, I want to watch that karate. I'd like to have that brick concession out there till they get finished kicking them around.
Vataha, Odom, and Payne are all in there. 3 wide receivers with Marty Smith. So the Packers have made their intentions clear. They're behind 13-7. Dickey with a rush is sacked at the 20-yard line. It is Alan Page, number 88, the veteran from Notre Dame. A big loss, 10 yards. It'll be 3rd and 20.
Let's watch Page to see what he does to the offensive man. He just runs back to the outside, and the offensive man actually gets picked off on a game up front by Page and Marshall. Page going to the outside, Marshall coming inside, picks one of the offensive men off and allows Page to come free.
3rd and 20 for the Packers at their 20.
The 2 wide receivers in this passing situation and trying to get it to Payne, but it's incomplete. It was a long sideline pass for Dickey to throw, and the Packers will have to punt again. They have not been able to move the ball.
Dickey has been low with the ball all afternoon, and right there he had his man open. All he had to do was put it up there about 2 or 3 feet to him, and he wouldn't have had the first down, but he would have had the completion.
David Beverly will punt from his own 6-yard line. Manfred Moore waiting for it at the 36 Minnesota. Beverly, another good punt. Taken by Moore at the 36. Gets out to the 45 where he's hit by a pile of Packers. And again, good field position for the Minnesota Vikings as they continue to lead in the ball game 13-7, but more importantly, in keeping the ball much of this first half. They have had most of the possession. Well, next Sunday on CBS, you'll see these regional doubleheaders, Philadelphia and the New York Giants, Detroit at Minnesota. Depending on the regions you live in, you'll see those 2 games. And we'll tell you the rest of our telecast schedule in a moment. Tarkenton on first down will throw. Intended for Voigt and broken up by Gary Weaver, number 52. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Weaver defending.
Good coverage by the Green Bay Packers. Francis moving to his right really hurts himself by rolling that way, but of course that's the way the play is designed. When you roll to the right, you really limit yourself to the amount of field you have to work with as far as throwing the football, but it has been successful for the Minnesota Vikings for the past few years, and I'm sure they're not going to discard it.
Ezra Johnson in at defensive end in this passing situation. He's number 78. Draw play, and Dave Roller was waiting for that one. 2nd and 10. Tarkenton had indicated he might try that, and Dave Roller must have read his mind. So he lost a couple on the play, and here's the rest of our lineup next Sunday. Dallas and St. Louis, Atlanta and San Francisco, Washington and Tampa Bay. Those are the regional doubleheaders next Sunday here on CBS. Consult your local listings for the games and times in your area. Some cities will see only a single game due to the NFL lockout policy. The NFL on CBS next Sunday. Wagner and Randolph are into the game again as we have 6 defensive backs for Green Bay. 3rd and 12. Good heat from Roller. And Tarkenton threw it in the general direction of Stu Voigt, and that's good enough to prevent the penalty.
Smart play by Francis to get rid of the football. All he was going to manage back there was a big loss, but Stu Voigt was over there. Francis threw it short. Voigt was covered fairly well.
That was the best defensive sequence for the Packers here this afternoon. They completely shut down the Vikings on that series. And standing back to punt will be Neil Clabo at his own 30. Willard Harrell is the lone receiver waiting at the 14-yard line of Green Bay. Another short punt by Clabo. Hits at the 30, gets a good bounce. And Harrell is going to let it roll, and Clabo turns that one into a pretty good punt. It'll be first down for Green Bay at the 12-yard line. You think he practices that bounce in practice?
That was a mistake on Harrell's part. I believe he should have picked that up as the ball was bouncing or just fell on it to save us some yardage and get some better field position than what he's had.
Some other scores. The Eagles lead Detroit 13-10. 8:50 to play in the third period. Dallas 17, Tampa Bay 7 with 9:54 remaining in the second period. New Orleans in front of Chicago 14-7 in the second quarter. And we mentioned Pittsburgh leading Cleveland now 21-14 early in the third period. Harrell trying wide left. Duck White, number 72, steaming along the line of scrimmage, along with Mark Mullaney, number 77. The two youngsters, and you know, this brings the opportunity to talk about these so-called old Vikings, John. They have been bringing along Mullaney, a third-year man, White, a second-year man, as replacements for the aging members of the front four. This club is not as old as one might think.
Well, everyone thinks they're old because you have Page and Eller and Sutherland, and of course Marshall playing continually. These fellas, as you mentioned, Mullaney has come in, been third year, has been doing a fine job when he's been put into the ball game. And I'm sure that they're preparing both of these fellows on the outside for the retirement of Eller and Marshall eventually.
Scott Studwell, a rookie and another of the young players, getting a chance to play today. Barty Smith, the ball carrier on it. The gain of 3, it'll be 3rd and 3. And Studwell, number 55, putting the tackle on. The Vikings have Wally Hilgenberg inactive today. He's got an ankle sprain. And their third-string quarterback, rookie Tom Kramer. Sitting it out along with Ollie Smith for Green Bay is Dennis Havig, who has a broken hand. The pass for Harrell. They're trying to set the screen up over there, but the Vikings stripped that down. He may even have lost a yard on the play. It was Studwell, number 55, the rookie, in there again on the hit.
You know, Tim, the Minnesota Vikings really don't try to confuse you defensively, especially in the secondary. You can pretty much read what they're going to do and tell beforehand what they're going to do. It's just a matter that they have superior play back there, and they execute so well. And especially with Green Bay, they have not been able to take advantage of that situation.
Beverly standing on his 5-yard line. And deep is Manfred Moore. Good punt from Beverly. He's been the best part of the Green Bay offense. Manfred Moore running well, gets it over the 45 to the 47 for Minnesota, and an appreciative round of applause for the efforts of the new kick and punt returner for the Vikings, Manfred Moore. Now, we mentioned that Sports Spec next week. John Unitas wants the brick concession in the full contact karate championship. Bill Superfoot Wallace will defend his title against Pat Worley. Actually, they don't use bricks in that event. And Superfoot is called that because of the well-known quickness of his left leg. I don't know how they did it, but it says here they've timed it at 60 miles an hour. I want to see the timing of that.
Must have been in some type of a wind tunnel or
Robert
somewhere.
Miller. Robert Miller, the ball carrier, did not gain a thing as the Packers rise up. Mike Butler, number 77, put the hit on him. I love that.
An interesting statistic, Green Bay with 3 yards gain in the whole ball game so far. And I don't believe they've had but 1 first down. Minnesota has really controlled it.
And that's with the exception, of course, of that touchdown that Odom scored. 95-yard play. Darkington on second down. A flag is down. Complete to Foreman. Foreman runs away from people. Still going. Finally stopped by Willie Buchanan at the 40-yard line of Green Bay. The flag is down back in the Minnesota backfield. Preliminary signal is holding, and it would appear that gain will be wiped out.
Well, there again is one of those penalties we talked about before the ball game. That makes the 14th one that they've had as far as penalties are concerned in the 3 ball games that they've played.
All we can say in their behalf is they have cut down on them today, but of course this game is not yet half over.
Well, I believe that makes 2 so far.
Offensive holding, number 68.
That's Goodrum, the guilty party this time, and it'll be 2nd and 20. Sammy Johnson is in for Chuck Foreman in the Vikings backfield. And the Packers remain. There are the Saints leading the Bears 14-7 there, and the Bears expected to be a contender in this Central Division this season. Wagner and Randolph are now in, and the linebackers Carter and Weaver go out for Green Bay. So now we have the 6 defensive backs here on 3rd down. Steelers continue to lead the Browns 21-14 in the 3rd period. Tarkenton with lots of time and just missing Sammy White. And right with him all the way was Willie Buchanan, number 28 for Green Bay. So again, the Packers stop the Vikings. Minnesota will have to punt. So Pack at least starting to do some things well defensively, Johnny, here, although they have not been able to get the ball moving offensively.
Well, Buchanan has a hard job to do, cover Sammy White one-on-one all afternoon if that's the way they're going to play him. And so far they have been doing that. Sammy White's come up with some good catches. Francis was just a little bit long with that football. Otherwise, it would have been another first down for the Minnesota Vikings.
Claybo punting from the 32-yard line, and again another short kick for Claybo. Has been having his problems here today. It's down at the 28-yard line of Green Bay. The wind is blowing against Claybo and for Beverly, and we've had good punting by Beverly and not so good by Claybo, but nonetheless, Claybo has been somewhat inconsistent this season so far. So Lynn Dickey will try and get the Packers moving. We have 3:38 remaining here in the first half. Tim Ryan at John Unitas at Bloomington, Minnesota is just a 13-7 ball game, remember. Despite the dominance by Minnesota, they lead by only 6. Harrell, nowhere.
Tim, Green Bay is going to have to start throwing the football on a first down situation to loosen up that defense more instead of waiting for second or third down. You get second and third down, it becomes rather difficult to throw the football. They know you're going to have to go with it. They're going to put the big rush on you. First down is a run-pass situation, and I always like to see teams throw the ball at least 50% on a first down. That way you keep the defense honest and keep them guessing as to what you're going to do.
Chuck White made that last tackle. He's getting a lot of playing time now at Doug Sutherland's spot. Pitch out to Harrell, trying the short side. He got maybe a yard on the play. Alan Page came all the way from right tackle, along with Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, number 50. Scott Studwell, number 55, has been playing at the left linebacker for Matt Blair. Blair is bothered by a knee that he injured early in the game last week against Tampa Bay, and Studwell has been giving him some relief today. Seaman playing outside and Studwell inside, so that Studwell, while he's in for Blair, is actually playing the middle linebacker spot and Seaman on the left side. Dickey, 3rd and 6. Intended for McGeorge, who did not appear to be quite ready to catch that ball. And John, what's a quarterback think when was McGeorge a little slow to turn and look there, or did Dickey throw it a little early?
Well, Dickey was right on the target. I think what happened is McGeorge messed up on his footwork out. He probably hit a soft spot and was not able to come back for the football. Dickey was right where he wanted to be with the football. McGeorge was not around quickly enough, but I do think he may have hit a soft spot in the field where he lost balance for a moment.
What do you say to him when he goes to the sideline in that situation, John?
Know where that spot is and don't go in it anymore.
Another big punt by Beverly. Driving Moore back. He made a good catch at the 10-yard line. That could have been dangerous. Moore works his way back to the 15 as he shook off the first tackler. And that is a disgruntled Terry Randolph, number 23, who had him at the 10. Moore made a good effort to get it back out, and they're going to spot it at the 16. Andra Thompson finally put the stop on him. Towering punt by David Beverly, who has been a big man today for the Pack. 59 yards on the punt. So Green Bay starting deep now from the 16. Tarkenton throwing on first down. Foreman alone up the middle has the first down. And he has it out at the 27-yard line of the Vikings, who quickly get out of the hole. And so with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, the Vikings 13, the Packers 7.
When you walk through the lobby of a Napa store, you only get a hint of what Napa really has to offer. There's much more, because if we put just one part from every kind of vehicle that Napa has to offer in this lobby, you wouldn't have room to walk. So we put them in this Napa shopping guide instead. Walk through the lobby of your local Napa store today and pick up your free copy. Your Napa store is a great auto supply store, but they've got more, much more. That's NAPA. We help keep America moving.
Now, let me tell you something. I've eaten the dust of many a rodeo, and I built up some kind of a thirst. That's why I drink light beer from Miller. It has a third less calories than the regular beer, and it tastes real good. Light says giddy up to all that flavor, and woe to being filled up. And that ain't no book.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Unitas. We have 2 minutes remaining in the first half here at Bloomington, Minnesota, with the Vikings leading a close game on the scoreboard, 13-7. The odd score, a missed point after attempt by Fred Cox. The Vikings have thoroughly dominated the first half, but the Packers have stopped them on 2 successive series, and thus the score remains only a 6-point margin for Minnesota. First down, complete to Foreman, goes right out of bounds, and a flag is down after that pass was thrown by Tarkenton.
There's a flag down.
On the rush was Butler, number 77, along with Dave Roller, number 74, and the penalty is against Minnesota. So now they have taken their 3rd penalty of this first half. And as Johnny Unitas has commented, they've had problems in the first couple of games with penalties. They got through the first quarter without one, I think, but now they're having some problems again.
Offensive holding, number 73.
That was on Ron Yeri that time. Butler took that outside rush once he saw Francis going to the outside, and Yeri had a hard time keeping up with him, so he just reached in and tried to help himself a little bit.
First and 20. Robert Miller, number 35. Good running by Miller. Got close to 10. See where they spotted it was Dave Purifoy, number 75, with help from Fred Carr making the tackle. Call it an 11-yard gain for Robert Miller, 2nd and 9.
2nd and 9 for the Vikings at their 29.
Rashad comes wide left, number 28. Sammy White is split to the right side, number 85. Foreman, it's complete, and looks like another flag down back there.
Ezra Johnson came in a little bit late on Francis and kind of just hit him one time and said, "Hi, I'm number 78, Ezra Johnson." He said, "We'll hire you. That'll cost you 15 in the first down."
I'm just a rookie from Morris Brown, wanted to introduce myself.
Right.
Well, a tough break for the Pack because there's an aggressive rookie trying to do his job on the pass rush.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 78, defense.
Ezra Johnson, who can really fly, does a 4.5 40, this youngster. He was their 2nd pick on the first round. They have high hopes for him, and you have to feel badly when that happens to a youngster because he's just really trying to do his best out there. More likely to make that kind of an over-aggressive mistake. So a break for the Vikings as they have first down at their own 49. It's complete to Robert Miller, and Miller works his way to the 43-yard line of Green Bay before Steve Luke put the stop on him and got help from linebacker Gary Weaver.
The thing that's really tough about that penalty on Johnson, Tim, is that one more play like that and Minnesota will be in field goal range. And they have contained him pretty much in his last 5 or 6 minutes, except for that penalty. Of course, Francis knows how to use that clock better than anybody in the game today. He's been cutting it around, little passes to his halfback. So you see Francis talking the statistics, 19 attempts, 14 completions for 151 yards, and no interceptions. He's had 5 so far this season, and he only occurred 8 last season for the whole season. So he's throwing the ball well this afternoon as he did last week, but they did have 1 or 2 interceptions last week.
1:09 to go as Tarkenton comes back on the field, and some other scores before we go to halftime. New Orleans leading Chicago now 21-7 with a minute left in the first half there. Detroit in front of Philadelphia 17-13 in the third quarter. Atlanta leading the New York Giants 10-0 in the third quarter. And Dallas in front of Tampa Bay 20-7 in the second period. Second and a little more than 2 to go. Miller has the first down and keeps right on going down near the 30-yard line of Green Bay. Finally stopped by Mike Butler, number 77, and so the Vikings with 54 seconds on the clock are now moving into scoring position. Good blocking by Ron Yary, leading Robert Miller on that play. Flag down. Tarkenton's pass is blocked. Looked like it was blocked by his own man. That stops the clock, if nothing else. 40 seconds left up there.
Well, and to just show you how much the Vikings have controlled this football game, they have 43 plays offensively to Green Bay's 18.
Offside is called against Green Bay, John, so the Vikings get a break again. And 2 penalties here have hurt the Packers in this final 2-minute drive by Minnesota.
Number 75.
Dave Purifoy, number 75. Guilty man on that last penalty. Wide left is Sammy White. Now goes in motion, turns it upfield, and Tarkenton under pressure. They have him. The first man to graze him was Butler, and Dave Purifoy finished him off. 36 seconds remaining on the clock. And Tarkenton has called timeout immediately. He lost 5 yards on that play.
Dave Purifoy doesn't know that the ball was blown dead. He wants that fumble. Let's take a look at Francis and see what happens here. He just gets a fine rush. Ron Yary does not block Butler. Butler's in there. Purifoy in there as well. Dave Roller standing around looking. Say, that'll go, fellas. But Francis, smart enough to know what to do with it, calls timeout. They're still in pretty good field goal range.
Let's make it a 10-yard loss on the play, a correction. It is 2nd and 15. They need to get to the 20 for the first down. And there's our reminder as we have 36 remaining here in this first half. We'll be going to Brent, Phyllis, and Irv. They'll have all of the scores for you right up to the minute around the National Football League today, along with some special features. Tarkenton, after consulting with Bud Grant, comes back on to get ready here as the Vikings would sure like to get one more before they go to the locker room. Here, as we have commented, they have dominated play but lead by only 6 points. So the Packers still very much in this football game. They made a big play in the opening minute, and one more big play could have them ahead, provided they can stop the Vikings on this series.
Vikings at the Green Bay 35.
Pressure again, it's out to Miller. Miller is met at the 30-yard line after a gain of about 6 by Jim Carter, number 50, and Carr, number 53, coming over there.
Let's take a look at Miller coming out of the backfield. As you see, he stops to look for a linebacker if he's going to come. Miller, he's the number 1 designation right here, just to get the ball to him. Hopefully he can cut back, pick up some good yardage, and put him closer to the field goal range. See Stu Voigt down there trying to block for Miller. He was a number 1 receiver. Francis just wanted to get it to him. Green Bay with 2 timeouts left, Minnesota with 1. I'm sure they'll hold that last timeout until for the field goal. Try maybe 1 or 2 more plays that get closer, maybe a draw possible, and then you can get it down into field goal range and then bring in the big foot.
Big foot. Cox has been a little bit inconsistent with his field goal kicking in the preseason and in the first 2 games, as Claybo has with the punting for Minnesota, but I'm sure Fred is confident at this moment that he can come up with a 3 if they can get him close enough.
They had a correction on that timeout. Timmy Francis has no more timeouts left, so that what he does here will have to be done quickly. Possibly run a play, line up, throw the ball out of bounds, what have you, anything to stop the clock. It's 3rd down now, though.
3rd and 8 yards to go for the first down.
This has to be incomplete, if anything at all.
Good pressure on him. It was Mike Butler making the hit with Dave Purifoy right behind him, and the Packers got good pressure and, more importantly, had good coverage downfield. Steve Luke on Foreman.
And just as importantly, have put him out of field goal range for right now. Francis has 1 more play to go. Let's watch the good rush by Purifoy. Butler coming over Yary. Purifoy coming in. Watch Butler sack him. There it is. Half's over. Green Bay Packers 7 and the Minnesota Vikings 13 at halftime.
Minnesota's marching ambassadors. Representing Long Prairie, a central Minnesota community of 2,500 people, this 125-member organization has traveled from coast to coast to participate in the Vikings celebration.
We'll
Sure, after we plow through the paperwork.
It's different with Allstate.
What's different?
We have the world's largest team of claims specialists.
Don't worry about a thing.
They settle most claims like this without estimates.
No problem.
Allstate specialists are interested in you, not paperwork.
I'll call the contractor today.
Oh.
That was easy.
When it takes being different to be better, Allstate will do it.
That's a promise from us, the Good Hands people.
Energy for a stronger America.
This is a remarkable energy-saving machine called SCAMP. Exxon developed SCAMP to clean the hulls of giant tankers. It can scrub marine growth from an entire supertanker in just half a day. Because a clean ship moves through the water more efficiently, we can save thousands of gallons of fuel every voyage. SCAMP, technology from Exxon that can help save energy for a strong America.
Now Black & Decker has come along with a handyman's helper that's mighty strong. It's small and light, but it pulls its weight. It's the super incredible Workmate. Yeah, it's more than a bench and more than a vise. It's got both things working, and that's kind of nice. You can pound on it, a saw on it, a plane of door on it, and a whole lot more. Yeah, when you're alone and there's work to do, the Workmate'll help you see it through.
I want that man now. He will come back here tomorrow with me. You have my word.
Oh, Daniel, when are you going to learn?
A settler's betrayal turns the Indians against Daniel Boone. Now he must prove himself in a savage Cherokee trial or die. Young Daniel Boone, Tuesday night at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of the U.S. Grand Prix from Watkins Glen. Live coverage of the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship with Bill Superfoot Wallace defending his title against Pat Worley. And the World's Strongest Men competition featuring the Steel Bar Bend contest. That's next Saturday at 4:30.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Unitas at Bloomington, Minnesota, where at halftime the Vikings lead 13-7 over the Green Bay Packers. Cox having missed the extra point, and thus the 13-7 score. And a game that saw in that first half the Vikings have the ball for 21 minutes and 21 seconds, John. They should be farther ahead, except that the Packers kind of rose up there in the second period and on 3 consecutive series managed to stop the Vikings' attack.
The Green Bay Packers have played some good defense the last couple minutes. They did not play good defense in the first quarter, Tim. As you mentioned, the Minnesota Vikings took the ball and just ran it and threw it at will. Francis doing an outstanding job, I think, of play calling, hitting Sammy White downfield and Rashad as well, and then going course with Foreman and Miller coming out of the backfield.
We saw an outstanding play in the first minute by the Green Bay Packers as they took the lead. The pass to Odom that went 95 yards, a little sideliner on 3rd and 11. He made a good catch, and then realizing that he had not been down, Nate Wright looked like he might have been going for the ball on the play, and Odom got up very alertly. That was a fine play.
Nate thought he had a chance for the interception. The ball was thrown low. Odom made a diving catch for it. As you mentioned, a good reflexive act by Odom to get up and, of course, avoid one tackler and go on for the 95-yard touchdown run.
So Green Bay had the lead, and it didn't last long, however, because Tarkenton passed to Sammy White, a 16-yard touchdown that resulted in a 7-7 tie with the drive going 80 yards in 15 plays. And then in the second period, Foreman scored from 3 yards out after another long, time-consuming drive, 72 yards in 13 plays. Cox missed that point after, and thus the 13-7 score. But you do have the feeling that Minnesota feels that they can move the ball pretty much the way they want to against Green Bay, and I guess the Packers trying to convince them otherwise.
Well, they have had success at doing what they wanted to, and they've done an excellent job of it. The Green Bay Packers, of course, coming back and playing some good defensive football. Offensively, they haven't done anything, Tim. They have not had over 1 first down in the first half, which is good ball control by the Vikings. Of course, good defensive play too. Len Dickey has been low with most of the balls he's thrown all afternoon. I had the Packers against New Orleans in the first game of the season. Dickey threw very well down there today, but he just hasn't been able to get it going here today. They've had only 19 yards rushing, 84 yards passing. So their net total yardage 103 against 207 by the Vikings, double, as you can tell. So we've got some other scores around the league, and we can take a look at those now as we see Atlanta
still leading the New York Giants 7-0. They are in the second period there. And the Falcons, of course, had that upset in the opening week over the Rams. Detroit leading Philadelphia 10-7 at the half. The Lions, of course, want to stay very much at contention here in the Central Division of the NFC, and they want that win there. They are favored, of course. Here's an interesting score as the Jets continue to give the Patriots all they can handle 20-14. They're in the third period. Greg Buttle scored for the Jets to keep that close. And this, an interesting tough ball game. The Cleveland Browns, who have won 2 tough games already, in there against Pittsburgh. They have Oakland next week to face, and they're hanging in against Pittsburgh 21-14. Dallas, as expected, ahead of Tampa Bay 17-0 at the half. Tampa Bay with a very tough defensive team, but unable to do much offensively. Baltimore and Buffalo, look at this one. Buffalo having some problems against the Colts having problems against Buffalo in the second period as they have a slender 7-0 lead. That's a bit of a surprise, although the Colts are hurting a little bit. But we're all through here with our scores at Bloomington. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Right now, we're going to CBS in New York.
Irvin Phyllis, I've just been handed a story that heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali said he will not fight anyone for another 8 months, and he will, as always, consider retiring. But, said Ali, I don't think that I am ready to retire yet. And now let's take you around the National Football League and quickly update the scores. In the fourth quarter, Atlanta holding on. Good defense against the Giants today. Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit leading 17-13. The Eagles had been ahead 13-10. New England and the New York Jets, this could be the big upset of the day. The Jets have played a standout football game, and they lead 27-20 in the fourth quarter now. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, the amazing Browns, hanging tough. 3 touchdown passes for Bradshaw in that game. Green Bay and Minnesota, many of you watching that game. At the half, the Vikes lead 13-7. New Orleans and Chicago, many of you also watching this contest. And it is the Saints trying to win for the first time, ahead 21-10 at the half. Tampa Bay and Dallas at the half. The rest of you watching this contest, the Bucs have been able to score, but still it doesn't look as though they will win for the first time. An update on that Buffalo-Baltimore, the Bills have scored, and now they are tied at 7. And Phyllis George, speaking of updates, what about the United States Grand Prix?
It is raining in Watkins Glen, Watkins. I've got so many names in my head today. CBS Sports Spectacular will bring you coverage of that race next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. But right now, let's go to Kenny Squire, who's trackside for a progress report in that rain. Ken, what's happening?
Well, Phyllis, under adverse conditions, King James the Fleet, James Hunt of England, is leading the United States Grand Prix here at Watkins Glen by only 11 seconds over the United States of America's Mario Andretti. Running third is South Africa's Jody Scheckter, while in fourth is Niki Lauda. There is Hunt, the leader. Running in fifth on this very wet, rainy track is Carlos Reutemann of Argentina. Clay Regazzoni, the Swiss, is running seventh. He's being challenged by Ronnie Peterson of Sweden. Next in line, and Jacques Lafitte runs in the 8th position. Danny Ungaius of the United States started 26. He moved all the way to 16th position, crashed. He is all right. Hans Stuck of West Germany, seeking his first Grand Prix victory, went out in front, led this race by as much as 8 seconds. Then he, too, has crashed here in the rain. Most of the cars are all on wet tires, and those tires, as the track is now beginning to dry out, are beginning to have problems. They may lose their tires before this one is over. James Hunt, right here, your leader in turn 1.
And again, you will see that race next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
The NFL Today will continue after this word from your local station. Archie Bunker pursues his dream to buy Kelsey's Bar in a 1-hour season premiere of All in the Family tonight on CBS.
Terry Bradshaw has just run for a touchdown in the Steelers in the fourth quarter. They kicked the extra point. It is 28-14 now, Pittsburgh over Cleveland. And with highlights, let's take a look at the New York Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. The Giants unable to score, and this play set up the Falcons' first touchdown. It was a punt to Lawrence. And watch him bust a couple of weak tackles here, coming back down the sideline. They couldn't pull him down from his ankle, and he got down to the Giants' 34-yard line. Scott Hunter, who once played in a playoff game with the Green Bay Packers against the Washington Redskins, on the keeper, got it down to the 1-inch line. And from there, Scott handed off to Ely, who busted across, and after the extra point, it was 7-0. Here's the Falcon defense in action. I've been telling you about them. Goldstein, formerly of Northern Illinois. There he is, sacked by Lewis. Watch now, Kuykendall going to get in on him and deflect the pass. Well, I'll tell you, if the Falcons win today, they'll be 2-1, and they had a chance to beat Washington. Watch this interception. Here's Ray Brown. They're doing an excellent job today in the fourth quarter, shutting out the Giants. Irv?
Tell you, Brent, I'm trying to listen to the Philadelphia Eagle-Detroit game right now. Ron Jaworski just went out of the game with a leg injury in the fourth quarter, but the Lions are leading that game by a score of 17-13. Here's Ron here, quarterback right now, 3rd and 16 on the Philadelphia 22-yard line. He goes to the air, but the ball's picked off here by Levi Johnson. He makes a nifty run back up to the 14-yard line, setting up a Dexter Buzzy score. You'll see it in a second as Buzzy goes off his right end, blast upfield for a nifty 14-yard run. Detroit draws first blood, 7-0. Philadelphia tries to come back as Jaworski again goes to the air, this time to his tight end Krepley, who makes a nifty catch. Touchdown, Philadelphia, and it's all knotted up 7-7. Jaworski handing off this time to Mike Hogan, a pretty nifty running back. He makes a real neat run here, working off to his left side, coming upfield, goes all the way down to the 1-yard line. Jaworski goes to the air again, this time looking for his biggest receiver, 6'8" Harold Carmichael. He catches on to it. The Eagles take a temporary lead, 10-13, because they missed the extra point. Landry counters with another pass himself. Dexter Buzzy goes in for a score. Detroit leads 17-13 in the fourth quarter, and Jaworski is out with an injury.
Irvin Phillips, the Green Bay Packers struck first in their game against the Minnesota Vikings. It was a 95-yard pass that we're going to show you. Lynn Dickey, formerly of Houston, unloading it to Odom, who has got speed as he gets up, and he was not down on the play, and he just ran it the rest of the way. And after the extra point, it was 7-0, Packers over the Vikes. But Tarkenton came back. Remember the sensational rookie of a year ago, Sammy White, that great catch he made in the playoffs? Here's a touchdown to White after the extra point tied at 7. Chuck Foreman then went across for a touchdown. Extra point failed, and it was 13-7. And right now, let's go back to the stadiums as the NFL Today continues on CBS.
Okay. Well, at halftime here at Bloomington, Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings continue to lead the Packers 13-7, but it is a strange kind of a game. The Pack has not done a whole lot offensively, but they are still very much in it. And we'll be back here for the second half in just a moment.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha! The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
Hi, ever need to rent a car fast? Watch. Hertz, #1 club number 21586, arriving in San Diego at 2 p.m. on RAL Flight 9. Returning it there tomorrow. Okay, thanks. That's all there is to it. When you're in the #1 club, nobody makes renting a car faster or easier than the Superstar. Even before you get there, your car is pre-assigned, your forms filled out. So rent a Ford fast from Hertz, the Superstar in rent-a-car.
I always wanted to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. After college, I kept working out, running through the streets of Philadelphia. Then, finally, I made it as a 30-year-old rookie. For me, Vince Papale, it was a dream come true. Another dream came true in Philadelphia here in 1776 at Independence Hall. The Liberty Bell rang it out, and Betsy Ross sewed a flag for it. Dreams are still coming true as Philadelphia rebuilds the riverfront and Center City area. These people are dream makers. They're United Way volunteers, neighbors, fans, and teammates working for the mentally ill and retarded, the YMCA, and many other agencies funded by our United Way. Philadelphia wouldn't be the same without them. They take pride in their team, their city, and their United Way. On behalf of the volunteers in the 4-county area of Philadelphia, we'd like to say thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Tim Ryan and Johnny Unitas at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. 13-7, the Vikings lead the pack. And we are just about to begin the second half with the Packers kicking off. The Vikings defending to our left in their home purple and white. Vikings to our right in white, gold, and green. The deep man is Manfred Moore standing on the 2-yard line. Moore, if you're wondering, and you missed our announcement earlier, just acquired a couple of days ago by Minnesota. They released Keith Hartwig, a rookie from Arizona who had figured to be their return man but has a sprained ankle. And they needed some help there, and they've signed Manfred Moore, ex-Oakland Raider, who played against the Vikings in the Super Bowl a year ago. Short kickoff taken by Robert Miller at the 15-yard line, and Miller works his way out to the 28-yard line of Minnesota. And make it Sammy White, not Robert Miller. 85, not 35, my mistake. And it'll be a first down for the Vikings in pretty good shape at the 27-yard line. Ezra Johnson made the tackle. And that is the story of the first half statistically, but Green Bay with just a 6-point deficit now as they rose up to stop the Vikings. A couple of drives in the second period, and the Vikings hurt themselves with a couple of penalties. McClanahan and Foreman are the running backs. Number 44 is Chuck Foreman to the 35-yard line. An 8-yard gain on the play. Jim Carter and Gary Weaver made the stop.
Tingelhoff, a very fine block that time to spring Foreman coming up the middle out of the I formation. Minnesota uses that play very effectively. They have an outstanding offensive line, and of course they've just been blowing the Green Bay Packers right back on their heels.
2nd and 2. They come out in the pro set. In motion goes McClanahan, number 33. Foreman again. Foreman dipsy-doodling and cannot pick up the first down as they close down that right side. Bob Barber, Dave Purifoy doing the job, and a gain of maybe a yard on the play, and he'll be 3rd and 1. Swilly comes in with Steve Craig in this interesting short yardage alignment the Vikings use. Swilly becomes the tight end. He is normally a backup guard, the rookie from Texas A&M. They say he's got great speed for alignment. He lines up at the tight end, and then they put the extra tight end, Craig or Voigt, depending on the side, kind of on the wing. This is McClanahan, and using that wingback blocking, he gets near the first down, and we'll see if the pack stopped him. It was Jim Carter ranging over number 50 to put the hit on him. But Minnesota does have the first down. Not by much, just enough. We're just underway in the second half here. A beautiful, bright, sunny day. Don't know what it's like where you folks are, but here we can tell you it's beautiful football weather.
1st and 10 for the Vikings at their 38.
Wide left goes Sammy White. Split right is Ahmad Rashad, number 28. Tarkenton, incomplete. Tarkenton wanted to come back to McClanahan on the right side, but the Packers had that covered very well. So he looked for an open man downfield and could not complete it, intended for Sammy White. McCoy on the coverage.
Well, that play deserves another look. Let's watch Francis as he rolls back to his left. He wants to throw a screen back to the right. No one is there. Finally gets downfield, but a good defensive play by the Green Bay Packers nullifies it.
Number 29, second-year cornerback from Colorado, Mike McCoy. Bart Starr very high on that young man, rightfully so. Sets down. And forced out by Carter. Vikings got their blockers over there, but again, good pursuit, good coverage on that by the Packers, and Foreman did not get much at all. In the first half, Chuck Foreman rushed for 11 times for 34 yards. He leads everybody in that department. Now he's got 46. So it'll be 3rd down and 9.5, we'll call it.
3rd and 10 for the Vikings at their 38.
And they've got Randolph and Wagner, the Packers do, in there in that 6th defensive back alignment again. Carter and Weaver out. Parkinson just flipped it. A little backhanded shovel pass intended ostensibly for McClanahan. Number 33, I don't know, John, I saw you throw some strange-looking things under pressure, but I don't know he had that in your repertoire.
Let's have a look at this one. Francis just danced around back there. Goes back up in the middle because he's forcing the ball. Let's look at the move right there. He tries to get over to Stu Voigt on McClanahan coming across. I guess you could say that it was either going to be completed or it was going to hit the ground. He didn't have any power on that at all.
Good defense by the Packers again as they stop the Vikings. They've shut them down here for the last several series of play. The punt by Claybo. Back for it is Harrell, and Claybo got the wind behind him and really drills it to the 6-yard line. Harrell is dropped inside the 10. Good punt coverage by Minnesota. Studwell, number 55, the rookie, was there. The 9th-round draft choice from Illinois, putting the stop on Harrell. And Claybo, once he got the win, showed he could still punt the ball. And it's 13-7, the Vikings over the Packers here in the 3rd period.
Of all of the small cars to choose from, Ford Pinto offers the kind of value that makes it the best-selling American small car. Pinto has a low price, and over 75% of Pinto's scheduled maintenance requirements have been reduced or eliminated. And Pinto has higher resale value than Chevy Chevette. When it comes to small cars, there are a lot to choose from. When it comes to value, look to Ford Pinto, the best-selling American small car. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Alcoa can't wait.
Here they come, pouring in from California and Vermont, from Texas, Oklahoma, and Georgia, from all over the country. Billions of used aluminum cans headed for recycling. Today, about 1 out of 4 aluminum cans is recycled and used again. Tomorrow, maybe 1 out of 3. Someday, maybe every one of them.
We can't wait. We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
Well, the Packers are starting from way down under here. First down following the 56-yard punt by Claybo. That boosted his average to 38 yards for the day. But he has the wind with him, and the first real indication that the wind is a factor. And we'll watch the passing from down there, too. Ball at the 10-yard line. McGeorge shifts over to the left tight end position. Marty Smith, number 33, good hole off the right tackle. Digs his way out to the 16, maybe the 17-yard line before Alan Page put the stop on him.
Good blocking by Torkelson that time for Marty Smith. Marty Smith picking his hole very good. You know, the Green Bay Packers have not been in excellent field condition at all times. They started from the 6, the 26, the 22, the 30, the 12, the 28, and the 10. So they have not been in good field position all afternoon.
2nd and 3, and McGeorge now shifts back to the right side. That brings a full shift by the Minnesota Vikings. Marty Smith trying the left tackle side. Alan Page waiting for him there. He comes up short of the first down. Got maybe 1.5 yards on it. What we're seeing when McGeorge makes that shift, Johnny, from one tight end position to the other is the Vikings flip-flopping their linebackers. We mentioned that Scott Studwell playing for the injured Matt Blair. Blair is dressed, but has only started the game. Studwell came in quickly after that, and he's playing in the middle with Seaman playing over on the left side, and they've got a weak side, strong side thing that I know you can explain better than I can when we get another opportunity. We'll see that shift, and then perhaps you can show it. Torkelson straight ahead, and looked like he got the first down, and they signal so. So the Packers showing some muscle their way out to a first down at the 21.
Tim, we mentioned the Minnesota shift, what they're doing with McGeorge as he changes sides of scrimmage. He goes from one side to the other. He actually makes the Minnesota Vikings shift their line to the strong side, as the Green Bay Packers predominantly been strong side running attack. Therefore, they overload to the strong side to try to prevent the running.
All right, so next time you see that movement by McGeorge, we'll watch for the Vikings to react to it. And the pass intended for Odom overthrown. Dickey had pretty good heat on him. First man in was Sutherland, and right behind him was Eller. And so it'll be 2nd down.
Well, that's a bad throw by Dickey because he had Odom coming across the middle. Plenty of time to throw, although you mentioned he did have some heat. He was actually knocked down as he was in the act of throwing. But I believe he should have completed that pass. He had Odom wide open. If he's going to have to bring that ball down, they'll have a bunch of midgets out there running as on the outside. But Taha and Odom, neither one of them 6 foot tall.
2nd and 10 for the Packers at their 21.
Well, they've got 3 wide receivers in again on this passing situation. We saw this back in the first half. Payne, Odom, and Vataha. Dickey with lots of time. Throws short, complete to Vataha. Vataha gets out to the 35, 36-yard line. First down, Green Bay. Fred McNeil made the tackle. And so the Pack coming from deep in their own zone, now finally putting a couple of series together here. Consecutive first downs. Dallas in front of Tampa 23-7, 8:36 remaining third period. The Jets lead New England 27-20, 10:30 remaining in the fourth period. And the Patriots upset last Monday night by the Cleveland Browns and in trouble there. Atlanta in front of the Giants 10-3, 10:39 remaining in the fourth period in that game. First down, Packers. Remember, they trail by only 6 points. Any kind of an offensive move on their part would have them back in front here with an extra point. Sutherland made the tackle on Barty Smith after a gain of 2. 2nd and 8 yards to go for Green Bay. Pittsburgh leading Cleveland 28-14, 11:30 remaining in the fourth period there. Baltimore, a narrow margin over Buffalo, 10-7, near the end of the first half. Dickey throwing, Odom complete. Nate right on the coverage, and he was out of bounds when he caught the ball.
There's an example where the receiver has to know exactly where he is when he's catching the football. Let's take a look at it and see whether Odom had enough time to get his feet down in bounds. There you see that switch there by the Minnesota Vikings as McGeorge went from one side to the other. Let's take a look at Odom now, see if he could get his feet in it. He was bobbling the ball. Exactly what it was. He had plenty of time to get the feet down, but he did not have a handle on the football.
Third down, 8 to go. Big play here for Green Bay. They've got to keep something going. Dickey scrambling, does not get the first down. Came up a yard and a half short. Alan Page put the tackle on him. He ran for about 6 yards, but that's going to leave him 4th and 1. And the Packers will punt.
The Packers so far this season have not scored a point in the second half of a ball game.
Manfred Moore awaiting the punt back at the 14-yard line. Let's see what Beverly does against the wind. Well, the wind definitely held it up, but a little better than Clabo had done. He caught it at the 20-yard line, is nailed by 5 Packers. Good gang tackling downfield on Manfred Moore. And the Vikings will start 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. They lead it 13-7.
Now try and forget the 10th largest life insurance company in America, Lincoln National Life. We're easy to remember.
You know, it looked like a light day, with nothing to deliver but posters for the AC Spark Plug Buy 7, Get 1 free sale. What could be easier, right? Wrong. Do you know how many places sell AC Spark Plugs? And everyone with a poster like this is selling 8 AC Spark Plugs for the price of 7, as long as supplies last.
Sure, getting a free AC Spark Plug is a great idea. But you better move fast.
Sunday, Archie wants to buy a business.
I want to see Kelsey's bar turned into Bunker's bar.
At 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Unitas of Bloomington, Minnesota. The Vikings lead at 13-7, and they have first down at their own 20-yard line following the punt. from Dave Beverly. In that Jets-Patriots game, it's tied at 27 with 1:27 remaining in the ball game in regulation time. Steve Grogan passing to Darrell Stingley to get the Patriots back into the tie. Tarkenton, complete. Wide sideline, covered immediately and knocked out by McCoy. Ahmad Rashad. He picked up 7, maybe 7.5 on the play. It'll be second down. If you have not heard the names of Ollie Smith and Dennis Havig mentioned today, they are the inactive players, both missing from the Packers because of injury. Smith with a hamstring, Havig with a broken hand, and sitting it out for the Vikings, Wally Hilgenberg was yet to play because of a sprained ankle, and rookie quarterback Tom Kramer. Good defensive work by the Packers. Foreman is stopped inside the line of scrimmage. They nearly had Tarkenton before he handed the ball off. He just got the ball to Chuck. They were both hit immediately.
There's a breakdown somewhere on the blocking as the guard moved to the outside. As you see, Francis getting nailed right there by Dave Roller. The guard forgot to come inside. Of course, the man is brought down, Foreman brought down very hard by one of the defenders of the Green Bay Packers, number 52, Gary Weaver, playing linebacker for them.
So it is third down and about 4 to go now. They lost about a half yard in that play. Complete to Rashad. He has the first down. McCoy again on the tackle. The same pass play we saw moments ago that got them a 7-yard gain, and this time it gets them first down. Minnesota at their own 36-yard line.
Tim, both of these outside men, McCoy and Buchanan, both are playing off Sammy White and Rashad very, very deeply, giving them the short passes in front of them. That time Rashad just blew McCoy back and just turned the outside where Francis had the ball right on the money.
Throwing on first down, complete to Foreman out of the backfield, and he's hit by Gary Weaver. But again, another good gain for the Vikes. Carr there to help out. He got close to 9 yards.
Foreman was, of course, Francis' second choice. As you see, he wanted to go to the outside, and you see, and Foreman just drift beyond Weaver, number 52, the linebacker, just gave it to him and hoped that Foreman could break a tackle. You'd rather see Foreman carry the football coming out of that backfield than you would getting him back in the secondary with the football where he can do an awful lot of damage.
Oh, boy. Second and short. McClanahan is stopped right at the line of scrimmage, and he may not have reached that first down yardage. Ezra Johnson and Mike Butler, the fine-looking young defensive ends for Green Bay, combining to make the tackle on him. Detroit leading Philadelphia. That's quite a ball game they've got going. 17-13 in the fourth period. It's been close all the way. Here's another dandy. New England and the Jets tied. 27 all in the fourth period. New Orleans leading Chicago. That's an upset so far. In the second period, the Bears have got a ways to come back. Dallas in front of Tampa, and that's no surprise. Third and short. Swilly and Craig are in for the Vikings in the short yardage situation. They have the first down. Foreman stopped by Carter, but again, the Vikings have been able on all of those third and shorts to get the first down yardage. And they keep their drive alive, and again, moving it more like they did back in the first period, John.
They are moving the football very well. Again, they're maintaining control of it. They're eating the possession downs up, getting the first down. Francis is doing an outstanding job. See a score with Buffalo 7, Baltimore 10 at halftime.
We've got an update on this one you're looking at right now. Atlanta has gone ahead 17-3 over the Giants with very little time remaining in regulation time there. 2:30 left in the fourth quarter. Tarkenton throwing, intended for White, and cannot get it. White jumped a little bit early there, and he may have thought that the defender had a better shot at the ball than he did, and he wanted to make sure that he knocked it away. It was Buchanan on the coverage, number 28.
Let's take a look at Francis and watch. He just hangs that ball right up inside. He did have some pressure on him, but he hung the ball up there for White, who was not able to get up to get the football. That ball could have gone either way had the defender been a little closer.
That was McCoy on the coverage, number 29, not Buchanan, number 28. Credit should go properly to Mike McCoy for doing the job. Second down. Tarkenton has thrown on first down fairly often today. Foreman cutting back, and the Packers played it well. He got no more than a yard on the play. It was Clarence Williams, number 83, first man to hit him. Williams is playing at left tackle in Dave Roller's spot at the moment. Now in come Randolph and Wagner, 23 and 21. Carter and Weaver, two of the linebackers, go out in this 3rd and long. Darkington is sacked. They had good penetration. He had all of his receivers out. There were no backs to block for him. Williams and Ezra Johnson were there to put the hit on him. Dave Roller. They all came.
The Packers have sacked Tarkington 4 times this afternoon. Coupled with that of last week, they've knocked the opposing quarterback down 9 times. Up to last week, 4 times today, and they were tied last week with Dallas for the league of sacking the quarterback. So they have been putting a fair rush on Fran Tarkington this afternoon.
Dave Roller, you saw on the replay, the first man to get him, and there were 2 more right with him. Claybo's punt, a good one, and gets a good bounce. It rolls out at the 6-yard line of Green Bay. Carell had no chance to get to that ball. And the Packers will start deep in their own zone at the 6. 3:40 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. The score remains the Vikings 13, the Green Bay Packers 7.
Come on, old trademark. Time for your walk. What's the hurry? I know where we're going. To where your family began. With the same Levi's blue jeans worn by this man. Hey, you've come quite a ways, little registered mark. Now that I see these guys by the park dressed in your newest edition, sums it up right there. Levi's sportswear. Trademark, I know what you'd say if you could. Levi's don't have to be blue, just have to be good.
Save at Ward's during the National Hardware Week sale. Got a storage problem? Get the solution. Ward's 10x9 steel storage building. It's Ward's tallest with 8 feet of headroom, 10 bending and stooping, and it's sale priced, $80 off. For security, there's Ward's galvanized steel fence fabric, now sale priced at 47 cents per foot. Give Ward's a call today for a free in-home estimate. Get storage, security, and savings during the National Hardware Week sale at Ward's.
Next Sunday, CBS Sports presents a regional doubleheader with Philadelphia taking on the Giants, Detroit at Minnesota, followed by a regional doubleheader, Dallas at St. Louis, Atlanta, San Francisco, and Washington against Tampa Bay. Consult your local listings for the games and times in your area. Some cities will only see a single game due to the NFL blackout policy, but lots of NFL action on CBS next Sunday. And the Green Bay Packers are 1st and 10. Joe Blaha is in the lineup replacing Bobby Bryant at the right corner for the Vikings, first time today. Bryant bothered with a sprained ankle and a sore knee as he's playing up to this point. Torkelson, wide right. Running room. Studwell forces him out at the 15-yard line, and depending on where they mark it, he might have himself a first down. He does. Good run by Torkelson. Vikings twice, John, have come out from deep in their own end, getting that quick first down, and it's got to be a morale booster.
Well, it is a morale booster to them. The biggest problem with Green Bay right now is they have not been able to control the football, make those first downs when they need be. They get 1 or 2, and then a mistake here and there, and it end up costing them. And they have a lot of young fellas playing on that line, and occasionally you're going to make a mistake. And that's what the Minnesota team does not do.
Marty Smith, good room up the left side behind Konkar and Steve Knutson. Seaman and Krause making the tackle.
This is almost a replica of the last time they had the ball. They've run Marty Smith and, of course, Torkelson, both of them good runners, not extremely fast, Tim. They really don't have a game breaker in that backfield at this time.
2nd and 2, Pittsburgh still well ahead of Cleveland Browns 28-14, and they've got a first down.
Marty Smith, the ball carrier. Seaman on the tackle. That's a Green Bay first down.
Seaman making the hit, but not before the Pack gets a first down, and they're rolling out of there, out to the 32. Pittsburgh's score is final. The Steelers beating the Browns 28-14. A real tough game there today, and Pittsburgh prevailing.
First and 10 for the Packers at their 32.
Green Bay on the move out of their own end, trying to keep a sustained drive going. They trail by only 6 points. Odom in motion. That was Barty Smith, stopped by Page and McNeil.
Page and Studwell on the tackle.
And it is a loss of 2 yards. So the Vikings now making life a little tougher for Lynn Dickey. Another final in. The Jets have defeated the Patriots 30-27. And New England 2 losses in a row after losing to Cleveland Monday night. And a big morale booster for those lowly New York Jets, as they are continually called. In motion is Odom. Dickey complete. Torkelson, Studwell on the tackle. Torkelson got to the 40. It'll be 3rd and 2 yards to go.
Studwell on the tackle.
We haven't seen Dickey go to the backs too much in what passing he has done here this afternoon, John.
That's the first time, and as you see, they're working on the linebackers. Torkelson was open. He put the ball exactly where he wanted it. Torkelson short of the first down. Bobby Bryant of the Minnesota Vikings is out of the ball game at this time. His left ankle has been bothering him off and on, and it's bothering him today, so they've taken him out of the ball game. Probably will not return.
Mark Mullaney is in now. Number 77. McNeil is out, so they've got an extra lineman in here in the short yardage situation. Dickey wants to throw. And they get him. Carl Eller. Flag is down. The flag is down. Eller got Dickey for about a 7-yard loss. Dickey wanted to throw that ball on short yardage, but his man was covered deep, and when he tried to get away, Eller, showing amazing speed for a guy they say is getting too old to play, he nailed the quarterback.
He came from all the way around the other side to do it, too.
Looks like a holding call against the Vikings, the preliminary signal. Let's see what transpires here after the sack by Eller. Here's the call from referee Chuck Heberling.
Defensive holding, number 23, first down.
Jeff Wright is number 23, and so the Packers will get a first down near their own 40-yard line. Oklahoma, 10th round draft choice. Gained close to 6 yards on the play. And that completes the 3rd quarter, so the Packers still very much in the thick of things here. They'll have 2nd and 4 when we return, trailing 13-7.
Who is the #1 investment firm in the East? Who is the #1 investment firm in the Midwest? Who is the #1 investment firm in the South? Who is the #1 investment firm in the West? You know who. Merrill Lynch. All around America, more investors turn to Merrill Lynch than any other investment firm. Sure, there are lots of investment firms, but there's only one Merrill Lynch. For the millions of people who need a full-size car, introducing the 1978 Ford LTD. If you need 6-passenger space, if you need a roomy trunk, if you want mileage like this, then the full-size 1978 Ford LTD could be just the car for you. LTD, a better idea from Ford.
The Packers Brain Trust, led by Bart Starr in the suit, talking to his quarterback Lynn Dickey, and it would appear the most significant thing that has sparked their offense has been passing to the running backs, John.
Giving to the running backs who are working on the linebackers, the defensive secondary, standing back there real well with the deep men, and then Dickey has been going to the backs and picking up some good yardage, and the best thing about it, he's been maintaining control of the football and the drive, and driving right down the field against a real fine defensive football team.
The Vikings have young James Duck White in at left defensive end for Eller. Torkelson met right at the line of scrimmage. Jim Marshall, the last man to get him, and it looked like Jeff Seaman was the first man to get him, number 50, putting the pop on him.
Seaman and Marshall on the
Got
tackle.
maybe a yard at the most.
Gain of 2.
It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it 2.5 to go for a first down. This is now final. Atlanta defeating the Giants 17-3. And Detroit over Philadelphia 17-13. And of course, that's of interest to Packer and Vikings fans, as the Lions trying to become a factor in the Central Division. Bert Askson in at tight end for the Pack. This is Torkelson. Good gain and a first down. Finally dumped by Paul Krause at the 41-yard line of Minnesota. So the Packers keep things moving. We could have ourselves a football game here. This has been a Viking-dominated game so far, but they lead by only 6 points. And so credit to the Packers' defense and some Vikings mistakes in keeping it close. And now with the Green Bay offense starting to roll, I think we're in for some fun here.
Some very good blocking on that point of attack that time by Dick Hines of the Green Bay Packers to break Torkelson loose.
Play action. Dickey broken up by Blaha. Intended for Ken Payne, number 85. And Blaha, number 21 on the coverage, got a hand on the ball. 2nd down.
Blaha, good position on the defender that time, and Dickey was just a hair late with the football. He broke open just about, a tenth of a second. He had a ball there a little earlier. We would have had the completion because Blaha was sitting back to the inside and had to go a long way to knock it down.
Randy Vataha comes in for Ken Payne. Vataha 18. Motion is Torkelson. Quick pass out to Vataha. They want a screen for him. And Vataha is crushed as he never quite found the opening behind his blockers and came back against the flow, and it was Blaha who put the hit on him.
He is a very quick young man. This is a quick screen back to Vataha. As you see the screen form coming to the outside, he elects to go back inside, and there he really should have turned up to the inside, because the more you fool around trying to come back, you're going to get into the pursuit by the Minnesota Vikings and almost got his head torn off.
I wonder how often we'll have Blaha on Vataha. Dickey pumps once, now he's in trouble. Gets it away, intended for Odom, and he just chucked that out of there as he had pressure from Alan Page, number 88. It'll be 4th down, Green Bay.
Dickey's pass intended for Odom was incompleted as 4th down.
So the Vikings stop the Packers' drive. Chester Marcole will try a very long field goal. At the 43, it makes it a 53-yarder. He does have the wind, and the wind has been a factor in the punting, as we have commented. Claybo had all kinds of problems in the first half punting against the wind. Marcole kicks it very short. Very short. And Minnesota, remember, gets the ball at the line of scrimmage. We've got 12:36 to go here in the 4th period. And Minnesota continues to lead at 13-7. We'll return to the Metropolitan Stadium after this word from your local station.
CBS brings you highlights from Elvis Presley's last 2 concerts in a 1-hour special tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS.
Next Saturday on CBS at 4:30, CBS Sports Spectacular. What a lineup we've got for you. The U.S. Grand Prix, the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship, and more of the world's strongest men. And John, you got to wonder a little bit about that last call, the field goal try.
Well, I kind of question that in that situation. Minnesota's been moving the ball, although the defense has been playing well. It's a 53-yard kick, and That's a very, very long kick to try, and now you're going to give the ball to one of the best offensive football teams on the line of scrimmage on the 45-yard line.
Carkenden complete to McClanahan. He's hit immediately at the 40-yard line, picked up 4 yards. And even with the wind, I guess that must have been part of their thinking. They thought that that's a pretty brisk breeze blowing in that direction, but nonetheless, it's a long way under the best conditions.
It is, and I would certainly would not want to give that football to Francis Tarkington at the 40-yard line every time. Although you know he's showing a little confidence in that defense, and let's see what they come up with.
The fifth defensive back in for the Packers here on second down. They give it to Foreman straight ahead, and he got about 3 yards. It'll be third down and 2 yards to go for the first down. Now, if they can stop him here and get the ball back, well, then that play looks a little better. Butler made the tackle. Bud Grants.
We have some pretty good tackle and play going on down on the field with Yeri playing on Butler. And I believe Butler is giving Yeri all he wants this afternoon.
He is an impressive young man. They've told him he's got the job, the rookie from Kansas. He's got the left defensive end spot, and he's out there to learn. McClanahan. First down and then some. Close to the 45-yard line of Green Bay, and he gets a hand from the partisan crowd as the Vikings have now moved into Green Bay territory. And Stu Voigt, number 83, as we'll see here, does a pretty good job.
Let's watch Stu Voigt, number 83, blocking on the linebacker, Gary Weaver right here. Stu stays with him. You notice the arms are out. I don't know whether he has a hold of him there or not, but he actually stayed with Gary Weaver and was the one who set the block up and then comes over and picks up Carter.
He had to get overtime for that play. First down, Minnesota at the 45. Foreman, Weaver has him. Carter comes in to help. So does Johnny Gray, number 24. He got about 4 yards, second and 6.
Green Bay is doing one thing that all good defensive football teams do, and which you have to do when you're playing against runners like the Minnesota Vikings, and that is gang tackling. It's tough to bring a Foreman down or a McClanahan or a Miller down one-on-one. You must get good pursuit from your defensive linemen and also the linebackers and the secondary coming up.
Robert Miller and Sammy Johnson are now the running backs in the pro set. Foreman out for a breather, has 53 yards rushing. Sammy Johnson looks like he has the first down, a pickup of about 7 yards, running behind the blocking of number 68, Charlie Goodrum. And Minnesota has it rolling again following that missed field goal that gave them the ball almost at midfield.
There's a look at the first downs. Minnesota with 21, Green Bay 7.
Good running by Sammy Johnson. Close to 10 yards on the play, and again Goodrum doing the job with help from Sammy White. Blocking.
Freddie Carr, number 53, not too happy. I think he feels that they were holding him in there, and as Sammy Johnson just walked around him. There you see Sammy just kind of jumping around and picking up some good yardage.
It is second and a yard to go. They gave him 9 on the play. They're at the 25-yard line now at Green Bay. Vikings leading 13-7. Robert Miller cannot make the turn. Jim Carter, middle linebacker, the 8-year veteran from Minnesota, probably a little inspired to play here in Bloomington today. Gary Weaver in on the tackle with him. And he lost a half a yard on the play. 47,143 on hand here at Metropolitan Stadium. Bart Starr got to hope that his defense can hold him here because we've got a long way to go, and it is a 13-7 football game. 9:13 remaining regulation time. That missed point after by Cox could prove to be a big factor, but they've got to stop them here. Miller carrying, and it looked like he got the first down, and he did. Dave Roller, number 74, put the tackle on him. Bart Starr has had Clarence Williams playing some tackle in Roller's spot today. has had Ezra Johnson playing some defensive end for Bob Barber, primarily in passing situations. But he is sticking with young Mike Butler at the left defensive end. 6'5", 265 pounds. Their number 1 pick. Timeout is called by the Packers. We have 8:40 remaining in regulation time. A close football game. The Minnesota Vikings hanging on to a 13-7 lead.
When you farm your own land, the work never ends, but you do it with pride and all the strength you can muster. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. Beer after beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Where's Daddy?
He's outside.
What's he doing?
He's with some people checking the air in their tires.
How come?
Because if you don't have the right amount of air in your tires, it isn't safe.
But why does Daddy have to do it?
Because he's a good rich dealer.
When he's done with the tires, is he gonna check the air on the blimp?
Tires you can trust. B.F. Goodrich. The other guys.
Someday, Archie wants to buy a business.
I want to see Kelsey's bar turned into Bunker's bar.
At 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain.
47,143.
Francis Tarkenton coming back on to try and get the Vikings in there and feel a little bit more comfortable with something larger than a 6-point lead. Tarkenton 19 for 27, 184 yards. Dickey, contrarily, 6 for 16, 130 yards. Not nearly matching his performances the first 2 games of the season against New Orleans and Houston. The Vikings have had 21 first downs, Green Bay only 7. The ball has been in Purple Shirt's hands almost all afternoon. Sammy Johnson. Steve Luke, the safety number 46, got him low, but Johnson bullying his way for 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3. Quickly, some scores. Baltimore now leading Buffalo 17-7. A minute 10 remaining in the 3rd period. Denver in front of Seattle in the first quarter, 7-0. Miami leading Houston 7-0 in the first quarter. Those Dolphins, despite their problems, they've been tough so far. The Rams and the 49ers lead. The Rams lead 3-0 on a field goal by Raphael Septien in the first period. Sammy Johnson again trying for the first down. They straighten him up right at the line of scrimmage. Jim Carter on the hit. And he did not get there. Washington leading St. Louis 7-0. 8:03 remaining in the first quarter of that game. And the Jets in front of New England 30-27. 23 seconds remaining in the regulation time. Well, we had a final on that earlier, I believe. The Jets won that game. And New Orleans over Chicago 28-10, 8:24 remaining in the 3rd quarter there. 3rd and very short, and a big gain by Johnson, and it's stopped at the 1-yard line. A loose ball, but it's called dead. Johnson took it all the way in to the 2-yard line. He was just trying to get the first down yardage.
Let's watch the block right on Carter. A good hole coming up the middle. Tingelhoff, number 53, on a very good block. Knocking Carter out, opening the hole up, the quick opener, right up the middle. Nothing surprising. They just come at you and they execute very, very well.
First and goal for the Vikings. Good run by Johnson through a big hole. Johnson. Whoops. So the Vikings, after a long drought going back early in the second quarter, the touchdown by Foreman, finally got on the board again and now have a more commanding lead with 6:34 remaining. We'll see it again.
That run by Johnson there is worth seeing again as Tarkenton hands off. He takes a pretty good shot right at the line of scrimmage right there by number 50 of the Green Bay Packers, Jim Carter. But he's able to spin off and back into the end zone.
Red Cox, it's good. so, with 6:34 remaining now in regulation time, we have a flag down on the point after play. Cox made it. It's against the Vikings, so everybody's got to come on back up here. Vikes have their kickoff team on the field already. They've now got 2 units out there. Finally, they get the message back at the 30-yard line where they were assembled, and we'll have to kick it over from a little farther back.
This must be the year of the holding penalty against the Vikings. They must have had, I know, at least 4 this afternoon.
Offensive holding, number 59.
Matt Blair on that specials team, guilty of holding. So he'll have to kick it now from the 20, which makes it a 30-yard point after. Good practice for your field goals, if nothing else. It's blocked. Well, isn't that interesting? And so, Ezra Johnson puts the block on it, the rookie, and the Packers stay in it here with the Vikings now leading 19-7, 6:34 remaining.
The Ford in your future is coming. The new Ford Fairmont. A new car designed for today and the years ahead. Fairmont's mileage ratings are the same as a little VW Rabbit when both are equipped with automatic transmission. Yet Fairmont has 90% of the head, leg, and shoulder room of most large cars and fine all-around visibility. This kind of room is combined with the highest mileage rating in its class. Test drive Fairmont October 7th. Fairmont, the newest, better idea from Ford.
Should have bought Mobile One. The oil, it saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile One. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile One. You only change it every 15,000 miles.
Mobile One, the oil that does it all. Take it from an expert.
64 yards in 12 plays. The touchdown by Sammy Johnson, a crowd favorite here. He scored it from 2 yards out. They used up 6:02. That's been the story of the game today. The ball has been in Minnesota hands. They will kick off now, leading 19-7. Fred Cox kicking to Harrell and Odom deep. A bouncing ball taken by Harrell at the 15. Gets outside and out near the 40-yard line. Harrell ran a punt back for a touchdown against New Orleans in the season opener for Green Bay. Tom Hannon made the tackle, number 45, rookie defensive back for Michigan State.
Tim, this has been the best yardage vantage point for the Green Bay Packers to start a drive from their own 40. Up until this time, they've been knocked down back to their 6, their 18, to 12, to 20, to 22. So they're in pretty good field position right here.
Slot formation right. Harrell at running back for the second time today, and he gained 5 yards on the play. Scott Studwell made the hit on him, the 9th round pick from Illinois. There's Harrell, the little guy. He can fly. Third-year man from Pacific. Atlanta beating the Giants 17-3 as we look at some of those finals, and Detroit over Philadelphia. And there is that final that we had given you earlier, and then gave you an earlier score. So it is over. The Jets beat the Patriots. Ken Payne on the completion from Dickey, dropped immediately by Joe Blaha. Blaha continuing at the right corner for the injured Bobby Bryant. Picked up about 8 on the play. Or pardon me, 3 on the play. It's third down. We had a 5-yard run by Harrell. And it'll be third and let's call it 2.5 for the Packers. Torkelson is back in, along with Barty Smith. They are the running backs for Green Bay. Third and short. Let's see what they do here. Torkelson, a flag is down. Torkelson diving near the first down yardage behind the left side of the Packers line. Blocking of Knutson and Konkar. It's against Minnesota. Mark Konkar is the guy they think is going to be an outstanding tackle, a second-year man from Colorado, a first pick a year ago. Already solidly a starter. Here's referee Chuck Heberling.
Defensive line in the neutral zone. First down.
So the Packers keep it going with a penalty against the Vikings. First down for Green Bay at the 47-yard line of Minnesota. 19-7, the Vikings lead it. 5:05 remaining regulation time. Come out with a stacked eye. 2:59. Looks like they're going to run from it. No shift. Looks like Mark Mullaney jumped over. Flag is down. The pass to Harrell. Out of bounds at the 41.
Dickey's pass complete to Harrell. Forced out by Seaman. There's a flag on the play.
What's your guess on this one, John?
Well, I believe it's an offside penalty against the Vikings, but I don't know. Let's see.
Didn't look like they called that. They called it in the Packer backfield. Could be holding against Green Bay, but maybe Mullaney got back on. It looked to me like he was offside.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but he may have jumped back. And it looks like they're only calling the second infraction. It's against Green Bay. And a tough break for the Pack there, because it did appear that Mullaney was
Offense
outside.
holding number 71.
That's Melvin.
71 is Mel Jackson.
Plus, he had a very good block out there for Harrell as he was going around the line of scrimmage.
So it's 1st and 20 for Green Bay. They have the ball at their own 42. Time becoming a factor here. They've got to get a couple of scores. If they can get 2 scores and a touchdown, two touchdowns and a 1 point after, they can still win this thing, but it's uphill. Dickey deep, intended for Payne and overthrown, but off the hands of the defender, Nate Wright.
Well, they had no chance of completing that ball. Nate Wright was way back there. Payne, there's no way he's going to beat Nate Wright deep. Let's watch Payne, and he just tries to lull him to sleep, go back to the outside. I believe Nate knew that was coming all along, because he's 3 steps behind Payne. Ball was thrown back to the inside. No chance of making a completion.
2nd and 20.
Second down and 20 for the Packers at their 23.
Mark Mullaney and Duck White in at defensive ends for Marshall and Heller. They have the rush on. The pass is complete to Barty Smith. And Smith gained about 10 on the play. It'll make it 3rd and 10. And this, if there is a big play for Green Bay today, it's got to be right here, John. They've just got to get a first down. They've got to go in to score on this series, and then if they can get the ball back, anything can happen.
They have to maintain the drive, as you said, go in for the score. We only have 4:26 remaining in the football game, and they have to put something on the board, whether it be the field goal or touchdown. I'm sure that they would love to get the touchdown, but they have to put some points on some way.
3rd down. Slot formation left. Smith, the lone running back. He's going out to catch a pass. Mullaney on the rush, flags all over the place. Dickey complete. Kenny Payne tackled by Jeff Wright. Flags back in the Green Bay side of the scrimmage line. Signal is holding against the Packers. And our guess is that it's Bob Kolakowski, recently acquired backup guard. Veteran, played many years with Detroit and was cut by Cleveland earlier this preseason. And with the injury to Havig, they brought in Kolakowski, and it looks like he might have been nailed. Let's see.
We have offense holding.
Well, if you read lips, it looked like 67 to me. Kolakowski, as the microphone went out on the referee, Chuck Heberling. So it is 3rd and 20, and the big play becomes even bigger.
Now's the time when you need some help from the bench. What do you do on 3rd and 20?
I think Dickey would like Bart to come in and throw the play. Joe Jackson is in defensively for the Vikings to get some extra rush, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Ken Payne, well covered by Nate Wright, number 43. And Green Bay will have to throw the ball. will have to punt the ball, pardon me, as I'm still thinking about Bart coming in to throw it. You know, that was an interesting huddle we saw over there earlier with Bratkowski, Starr, and Dickey. That's a lot of quarterback help for this team.
A lot of experience sitting over there.
You bet. Beverly will punt from his own 29. Manfred Moore standing on the 10 for Minnesota. Good punt. At the 9, he slips and is knocked down right there. Well covered by Andra Thompson, number 43, so Minnesota will be starting from their 9-yard line, but they are in command, 19-7 with 3:44 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Touch, the first computer TV. Magnavox Touch Tune Color Television. Touch, and lock in computer sharp color, computer fast. Touch, no need to fine-tune ever. Computer controlled color. Touch, even by remote. Star System Touch Tune Color Television from Magnavox.
Time to trade in for Touch Tune. Trade in your old TV for any new Magnavox Touch Tune Color Television and save big.
On May 4th, a tornado struck Olathe, Kansas.
We still haven't found the roof. It's probably 2-3 miles on north of us.
I was in the storm cellar when the storm hit. The next morning, the Allstate adjuster came out. Then on Saturday, he gave us a full settlement on the house and the barn.
Under catastrophes, this is a normal procedure to get the money into the people's hands as quick as possible.
Allstate settled the claim a lot quicker than I expected.
They were just great.
Help when you need it. That's a promise from the Good Hands people.
Some other scores from around the NFL. Baltimore leading Buffalo 17-14 in the fourth quarter. The Bills giving the Colts a hard time. New Orleans trouncing the Bears 35-10, 8:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. Denver and Seattle are tied 7-7 in the first quarter. San Diego leading Cincinnati 9:59 remaining first period. And Miami in front of Houston 14-0 in the first quarter. First down for the Vikings. Sammy Johnson straight ahead to the 10-yard line. Got about 3 yards. They're going to mark it at the 11, so we'll call it a 2.5-yard gain for Sammy Johnson. Johnson and Miller, the Vikings running backs.
Well, you can expect Fran to keep the ball on the ground in this position, try to eat up as much of that time as he can, and if he can make a first down, he'll be able to run the clock out without turning it back over to the Packers.
Don Hanson in at linebacker for Jim Carter. Robert Miller, the ball carrier, is met right at the line of scrimmage again. Backer on the left side, 52. Picked up maybe another yard and a half. It's 3rd and 7. Packers got to get that ball back quickly. 2:40 remaining. And they are down 19-7. The Vikings would like to keep possession here as they have most of this football game, and that has certainly been the big factor today. Johnson trying to get outside. Good move and hard running. Will be short of the first down, however. Hanson and Steve Luke putting the tackle on Sammy Johnson. Sammy Johnson, a fourth-year man from North Carolina.
Thanks, Paul. Let's watch him carry the football because a lot of people have been clamoring for him to be playing more football for the Minnesota Vikings. He's an excellent runner, been carrying a good average per carry, 8.3 before the ball game today. And he's also, I understand, a very good pass receiver. That's just about the same thing that all the offensive backs for the Minnesota Vikings. Good receivers, good ball carriers, good blockers.
Well, I thought he came up short. The officials marked it down, and the ball came right on the money for 7 for the Vikings. We're under 2 minutes. Sammy Johnson diving out, and it looks like he has another first down for Minnesota. Sammy Johnson, and you see Miller putting the block on the linebacker effectively. And Johnson then shakes loose from one tackle and shows his muscle and balance and gets the first down for the Vikings. So they are now out where they can breathe comfortably near the 30-yard line. 1:52 remaining. And if the Vikings hold on to what appears to be an apparent victory here as we have another timeout, it would mean that Bud Grant will have reached the 100 mark for his National Football League career. 100 victories for Bud Grant, one of the great coaches in the history of the league. After a very successful number of years in the Canadian Football League, 4 Grey Cup championships up there before coming to the Vikings. And consistency has been the trait of the Vikings throughout the years under Bud Grant. Robert Miller is met right at the line of scrimmage as these Packers are not about to roll over out there. They're still battling defensively. That was Gary Weaver submarining in from the left linebacker side, number 52.
Gain of 3.
1:35 remaining. 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 for the Vikings. And it would look like they have this thing well in hand.
For the Vikings at their 32.
Be their second victory of the season against the loss to the Dallas Cowboys in the opener. That went to overtime. Miller again.
Robert Miller, the ball carrier.
Johnny Gray, the safety man, came up to get into the middle of that. Don Hansen, the linebacker, who has been in this last series, replacing Jim Carter.
Gain of 2.
You have to be impressed with young Mike Butler, who's turned in another impressive game, the rookie from Kansas. And the Packers with so many good-looking youngsters who, once they mature and have a chance to play together and not have to face teams like Minnesota every week, it's going to be a fine young football team before the season is out. 3rd down, about 5.5 to go. Miller again. Hansen is there to put the wrap on him. He got about 3 yards. And the Packers have forced the Vikings to punt, but only 20 seconds remain. It'll be 4th and 2. Bottom of that pile, Don Hansen, who got in on a lot of action coming into this final series. And that'll do it.
Drive safely on your way home.
We have 5 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock, but the gun is sounded and the teams are walking off the field, so it's official. The Minnesota Vikings have defeated the Green Bay Packers 19-7 for Bud Grant, his 100th victory against 39 losses and 4 ties in the National Football League. So a milestone today for Grant, but a long way to go in this season as they hope to return to the Super Bowl. Stay tuned now as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.
Guess who's back with Rhoda on her season premiere? Her indomitable mother, Ida Morgenstern. Share the laughs when Nancy Walker returns to Rhoda tonight at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS.